drink, bartender.
Some Good evening, everybody. Welcome on in. It's, if I sound a little bit low energy, it's mostly because I'm still drinking my coffee. I, had Taco Bell and then passed out in Nix's bed for about an hour. And I woke up around 20 minutes ago. Had to get my water, my tea kettle, and, my coffee and everything all set, ready to go. That was an interesting little moment. It's been a day. It's been a mostly boring day at work, so, you know, I'm having my tea, or my coffee, I guess. I'll have the tea later on. Just, taking it slow. It's a Stalker Tuesday, which means I'm going to be taking things very, yap-heavy, very relaxed. So, I always look forward to these campfire sessions nights, and, obviously, there will be plenty of shit to talk later on. I do have a thing, actually, I am prototyping tonight, because I wanted to talk about that when we get on down to the bar. So, first step, before I get into the usual kayfabe, as I always do, first off, to Estelle, thank you for the first redeem. Kim Tustis, as always, good to see you. You fucking know what day it is. Netta, good to see you as well. I have no clue what the magnesium is. Soroka, always happy to see you. Always a fine day to see my homie. Giving you a shout out, because of course, if we got anybody in here who's not already following Soroka, you're fucking up. Oh, really good pull on the fucking, listening party. Alright, let's get on down into it. Hi, everybody. I'm Too Much Sascha, the Chernobyl battle maid. I cook, I clean, I kill. And I'm also being held hostage by the UN. When I'm not doing any of those things, I'm on Twitch playing spooky shooty games. Tonight, as is my usual regimen and has been for the better part of, no, do not hit it early. Do not hit it early, Estelle. I'll get to it. But, as is my regimen that I've kept to since, around, 2022 or to 2021, it's a Tuesday, which means I'm playing Stalker, which is my favorite video game of all time. I hope you're all having a splendid night tonight. As I said, I'm still sipping my coffee. It's actually a good thing that Estelle brought that up. So, I have one concern. Since, for the better part of the past 6 months. And I'm partially to blame for this, because usually when it gets, pulled, I haven't been actually brewing it. But part of it is, I've noticed people haven't been, we've gotten a fairly, new regimen of people, a lot of new people since the start of the year, and I think this is a good opportunity to remind everybody, as a streamer, unfortunately, as the person who's, putting all of her, focus into the show she's putting on and the game she's playing, I am fairly forgetful about my self-care, which means I need y'all to be more diligent, and I guess maybe not the word is diligent, but I need y'all to be more judicious with the self-care redeems, that being the get up and move and canteen sip to help me stretch and keep myself hydrated, because otherwise I'm very forgetful about that. The other one being the tea time. I haven't seen a lot of people pulling the tea time very often, and I would like to remind people to hit it at least once per stream if they can. Yeah, take care of your Sasha Tamagotchi, or Tamagotcha, maybe. But I would like to ask y'all to be more judicious with the stretch, hydrate, and tea redeems whenever you can. It would be very nice. I need y'all to help me take care of myself, and especially my voice. Part of it is I would like to ask that y'all don't redeem the tea time at the start of the stream and say just brew whenever you want, because then I'm going to put it off and never actually do it. Don't do that. So, don't, I'd hit it, but then you'd say no tea. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, is generally speaking, the tea time is a halftime to late stream thing, obviously, but it's if you can, try to hit me with the tea time around, the latter half of the stream, just to help me take care of my voice. And it also, as well, if I'm having, chamomile tea, it helps me, fall asleep better after stream, otherwise I stay awake for the next 2 hours after I close up shop. So I'm going to ask that y'all be a little bit more judicious with reminding me to stretch, hydrate myself, and hitting me with tea towards the end of the stream or even halftime, because a big part of the stream experience, especially as it was for like most of my early years of VTubing, was the tea time was basically like kind of like a big pause for everything, especially in Stalker Tuesday. The tea time is a moment where I just kind of sit down with a cup of tea and we just kind of put the game on hold and just talk about things like person to person. Tea time is when the campfire chat aesthetic of like the Stalker Tuesday stream is like beholden to like its strictest regimen. And therefore, I don't want to see people hitting the tea time at the start of the stream and just saying, oh, hitting the tea time and then I'm leaving, you can do it whenever. Don't do that, because then I'll never do it. And I don't want to see people doing it at the very end of stream and saying, go have your tea after stream, because a big part of why I have the tea time is to do it on stream, because the more personal discussion between me and the chat is kind of like part of the appeal of it. It is me kind of dropping the character, dropping the game and everything, and just getting to have like kind of like a heart-to-heart with each other over a cup of tea. So I would like to see more usage of the tea time. So since we have obviously a lot of people who are new to our stream, might not know that this was like kind of a big part of how I run the ship, and has been for many years. But this is kind of going to be where I say, hey, just for the future, you're just afraid of disrupting the flow. No, do not be afraid of disrupting the flow. If anything, tea time actually helps me like reset myself and like re-coordinate. Tea time is when I take a breather, we put the bits on hold and say, okay, let's take a moment to think. Granted, tea time doesn't always mean it's a BRB or like a full-on like stop everything and go back to the bar thing, but whenever I get an opportunity to, I do like to, and if I can't, I will simply sip it while we play. But tea time is mostly to keep my voice going first, and secondly, for the purposes of me and Shaq getting to kind of like wind everything back and kind of like reorient ourselves in a discussion. So please, trust me. Be less afraid of disrupting the flow. The tea time is the flow. So I want to see more people hitting it whenever they can. I want to remind everybody that it is there and that it is a thing I rely fairly on. And I know the question is, Sascha, why not just initiate it yourself then, or just do it on your own? And I understand that, and I know it's going to sound kind of silly or perhaps even counterproductive, but a big part of why I have it as a redeem is because I feel like letting a chatter call it makes it a little bit more personal. It feels a little bit more kind of like close in a way, intimate maybe, where it's like, it's not just me saying, okay, here it's a BRB break, time for me to go make my nightly tea or whatever. Instead, it's kind of somebody saying, hey, Sascha, can we put this on pause for a second? I want to hear you talk about this thing. And that feels nice, because then it feels like I'm being like personally asked by somebody to kind of put on a little panel or just a little sit down or whatever. I like having a chatter call it, because then it feels less like me governing the energy of everything. And because, yes, I am the person on the stage. I am that goofball with the fucking, you know, like fucking upturned hat, you know, like yelling into a mic or whatever. But I like my streams to have as much audience interaction as possible. And chat reminding me to take care of myself, as well as somebody in chat calling the tea time for me, and deciding, hey, you know, maybe so-and-so in the chat kind of wants us to tone the volume down for a bit and kind of talk about some real shit for a second. That kind of helps the audience interaction feeling. I like that a lot. So that is why I have it as a redeem rather than just a thing that I do of my own accord. So that's that. And to this end, I actually did overhaul, or not overhaul, but I adjusted one of my timers. So now, every part of the 4 messages that each play every 15 minutes, one of them is that Muller will actually remind everybody to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. And of course, naturally, because it's Muller. Not a bad pull. Naturally, because it's Muller, she has her own opportunistic spin on it. Not because she wants me to be healthy, but because she wants me to be ready at a moment's notice. So look forward to that. Muller will be reminding all of you to make sure I'm taking better care of myself. So that's all I wanted to really address at the start, is be more judicious with the self-care redeems whenever you can, and please don't be afraid to hit the tea time, especially if it's later in the night. It helps me with my voice, it helps everybody get a moment of reprieve, and it helps the discussion, and it helps it feel like it's a proper little sit down at a campfire, where sometimes I will punch you in the face, and by sometimes I mean a lot of the time. Also, I wanted to say, Mal, always good to see you up in chat here tonight. Always good to see you. Let's see here. Hi, indeed. Spooky Sleep, welcome on in. First time chatter I see, how are you doing? I am your Sascha Gotchi in a way. That is exactly what Muller would call me. Alright, that's about that. I'm still sipping my coffee, so while I'm doing that then, chat, why don't y'all tell me how your fucking day has been? Because, I mean, mine's been pretty standard. I had a fairly, like 6.5 hour shift, but it was pretty fucking dead, so I just kind of spent most of it cleaning. There's rationale behind not just setting a big cooldown for tea time. I only want there to be one per night. Any more, and that one is a lot of water and a lot of tea. I don't like to have more than 1 cup of tea per night. So it's literally just only one. I don't want to be making more than 1 cup of tea per night, because more than 1 cup of tea in a single 4-hour period is quite a lot. Quite a lot, I would say. Bad mental day becoming good mental day through much effort. That's good shit. That's the good shit. Hanging out, chilling, too hot today. Yeah, that's fair. It was like that a couple of days ago, but it's honestly been a nice day for me. Because, like, today was, like, mostly just kind of me sitting down, chilling, at work and cleaning. But, I've been doing a lot of fun stuff. You said shift? God damn it. God damn it, Estelle. I think that's just how you're perceiving things, homie. I think you just be perceiving things. But, so I actually had a fun thing to talk about because it happened yesterday, after the Evil Within stream. So, this is actually a thing I've been very, very excited for. Oh, I turned my lighting off. This is a thing I've been very excited for. So, we actually have a local skate shop. Or not like local, but it's about like a 10-minute drive away. Hey, what's up, Pup Celeste? How you doing tonight? So I built a Walmart bookshelf and put all 4 of my PS2's games and manga on it. Hell yeah. Leveling out right now after sleeping off an overnight. Ooh, that sucks, homie. I hope you're able to find a job that doesn't work you overnight, because those are not looking to be having like a good effect on your mind and body, I gotta be honest. Hope you're able to find something better for yourself. But, good shit, Comtustus. I got a nice little bookshelf over here myself. And it was actually really nice because I haven't had one for like years and years and years and years until I built one this November. But, so I had a fun thing that I did yesterday. I worked an 8 to 12, and granted, 8 to 12s aren't super long, but they do mean I have to wake up a little bit earlier than normal, because my usual, like, wake up no matter what is 8 o'clock every morning. I get up at 8 to take my estradiol and my spironolactone, and then I start my day. But I had to wake up earlier. I waked up an hour earlier, and then I proceeded to fall back asleep again without realizing it, and I woke up at 8, which is the exact time I was supposed to clock in. Generally not a fun experience. I did have to rush to work, I didn't have breakfast, I didn't shave, and I basically spent the entire shift running off of a canned triple s'mores latte. Like a canned triple shot s'mores latte. Wouldn't recommend it, but I did do just fine. And afterwards I was like, oh, I can't wait to go home and nap or whatever, but instead, as soon as I clocked out, I said, you know what? I actually have a fun idea. I proceeded to go home, shave and switch my clothes out. I then walked up Main Street. I drove down to my main street and parked my car on the side of the road, and I walked on down to a local Philly cheesesteak shop, and I had myself a delicious fucking cheesesteak with an Oreo milkshake. And then after that, I walked down to a nearby coffee shop on the same block and had myself some coffee. So instead of just like kind of like taking a nap and bed rotting, I spent the whole day, like most of the afternoon, like walking up and down like my main street, like feeling the sun on my skin. It was a nice day, or it was a little bit warm, but there was like a perfect temperature breeze. Like yesterday is what I would describe as being a perfect day. It was fucking gorgeous. It was absolutely fucking gorgeous. And I had a great time. But what ended up happening is that after that, so after I got some food in me and some proper coffee, I decided to drive to a skate shop about 10 minutes away. I stopped by, and it's very funny because, like, I had a strange situation where, like, I realized, wow, present day cars are way too fucking big. Ooh, what do we got here? Ah, it's a fireball. Better luck next time. Good to see you, by the way, Ziggy. Always good to fucking see you. How you doing, homie? Shout yourself out for me real quick. Ziggy's a fucking cornerstone of our community. A mod that we wouldn't really, you know, a mod that we, like, wouldn't be here without in the same capacity. Ziggy has been there for a lot of us through some tough times, and we've been there for him as best as we can. Outstanding guy, really cool fucking story concepts, a ton of fun to hang out with. Go shout yourself out and go follow that motherfucker, please. Thank you. But anyway, so I parked at the skate shop, and because there was, like, parking in the back, like, up against the fence and off the curbside, I was parking next to another guy's car, and I was realizing, wait, we're both parked up at the fence at the exact same, like angle and positioning, but his car is off the curb, and mine, like, is, like, his car is, like, all the way on the property, and mine is actually sticking out over the curb and into the street a little bit, and we're both still driving, like, typical four-door sedans. That's... okay, modern cars are too fucking big. As much as I love Lara, my gorgeous 2022 legacy, I do think she could stand to be a little bit smaller. But I stopped by the skate shop. I walked inside, and I just see two dudes sitting down and yapping about something. And obviously, I'm walking in like a Harm's Way t-shirt and some Converse sneakers, and I'm like, all right, so fellas, I have never skated before in my life, and I'm looking to pick up a longboard. Hit me with the fucking 411 on this. And obviously, a guy took me over to a rack with a bunch of complete builds. He talked me through about how Santa Cruz and Sector 9 are two of the best brands they've got in stock and a good place to start off. He was talking to me about wheel softness, wheel size, board shapes, and all that. He was recommending that I grab a cruiser board, and he was also recommending me a board, like a decent, like, wheel size and softness of around like 78. There is a nice looking Sector 9 longboard there, but I'm actually thinking of grabbing a Santa Cruz cruiser deck instead, because it had a really nice barbed wire design on it. So I ended up, like, obviously talking to Rody, and one of Rody's partners, actually, the day after, or like the evening after, and we got into, like, the fucking, like, the weeds, both of us, about, like, okay, here's a good place to start. Like, obviously, like, I've gone in and I've actually, like, done some of my research. I talked to somebody, I'm bouncing it off people and cross-referencing and making sure I'm being smart about my purchases. But after talking to Rody and one of Rody's partners, I've come down with a simple understanding of I'm probably going to go in tomorrow after work, and I'm probably going to look at the, like, just, like, completely, like, standalone decks from Santa Cruz and see if I can't find a design I really like. The shopkeeper, or one of the people working at the shop anyway, was telling me that, like, Sector 9's trucks and wheels are decent enough that people will just put them on other decks even if they're not buying, like, a full Sector 9 board, like, altogether. If they're, like, putting together their own boards, especially with longboarding, a lot of people like to get Sector 9 trucks and put them onto other decks. So, since the actual Sector 9 deck that I saw didn't... it was nice, but it didn't really feel like me. So I'm gonna go in tomorrow. I'm gonna go see what kind of, like, just standalone decks they have for, like, cruisers, especially from Santa Cruz and Sector 9, and see if I can't find a design that really feels like it fits me. And then I'm probably gonna see about grabbing the same kind of, like, trucks and wheels from Sector 9 anyway. And I'll basically just put the board together myself. It'll be a little bit pricier than just buying a complete Sector 9 for 200 bucks. But, because that's, like, what the Sector 9 longboard there was. It was only, like, 200 bucks, which isn't a bad price at all. And if I grab myself, like, a decent Santa Cruz deck and some Sector 9 trucks and wheels, I should be all set. I'm very, very excited for this. You can blame the whole, like, special, like, stream, what is it, like, stream trailer, Twitch trailer that I made last week. You can blame that for being the reason I'm so into this now, because after making that and watching the music video for Spread Eagle Cross the Block, I was like, dude, I kind of want to get into skating now. And obviously I'm still a little bit cagey about getting to like full on like trick skating and shit. I'm not trying to do like, you know, like get like a proper like trick deck and start like going to the skate park and whipping it or whatever. I'm not that brave right now, because I've literally never done it before. And obviously one of the main reasons I never really bothered is because I was afraid of getting hurt, which Nix was quick to point out. Hun, why the fuck are you scared of getting hurt? Didn't you get hospitalized at a hardcore show? Like, what does it matter at this point? I was like, yeah, you know what? Considering I've literally been sent in with staples, who gives a fuck? And especially if I'm not getting into it, like, because obviously it's probably a bad idea to get into skating, like, completely out of nowhere and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, like, start going to skate parks and whipping it and shit. Instead, it's like, no, I'm actually starting off pretty humble, because autumn's coming up in a month, and I've talked a lot on stream about how one of my only issues with my proximity to work is that I have a grand total of 3 minutes between work. Yes, it is. I have a grand total of 3 minutes between work and home to self-reflect before and after my shifts. I don't really have a lot of time to think to myself. And I mean, considering during much of the winter I was just walking to work anyway, just for the fuck of it, partially because whenever my car was buried and I didn't feel like digging it out and being sore when I went to work, instead it felt a little bit nicer to, you know, walk instead. But I'm within about like a good like 10 to 15 minutes walking distance of my job, and walking is nice. However, when I am walking all the time at work, probably not good, because right now my Achilles tendon is fucking killing me. My Achilles tendon on my left foot, that motherfucker loves to start acting up whenever I'm like, you know, pushing myself too hard. So what I thought to myself was, well, I have a unique little situation here of wanting to take a little bit more time going to work, but not wanting to walk it, but having a decent distance where I can walk it. And I've recently started wanting to get into skateboarding culture, because I've wanted to get into skate culture for like most of my fucking life, and I was too scared to ever really get into it. But like, fuck it, dude, I'm about to turn 30. I don't give a shit anymore. I will happily fucking, like, you know, like bail out and fuck my elbow up. I don't give a shit. I'm just here to have a good time. So it was like, well, I can solve all these problems at once, because if I get into longboarding for the purposes of traveling to work, I can get to work a little bit faster than walking, but slower than a car, get some time to fucking, you know, like relax and like think to myself. And on top of that, I can also kind of like steadily start to build up the skills of skating. And that feels really nice. And the best part is, since it'll be autumn, I'm going to have to be like practicing a lot. I'll probably be practicing at night, just because it's cooler at night here in August. On top of that, come autumn, all the kids will be at school, and I don't have to worry about people looking out their window and seeing me bail out. So I'll just like go out during like the weekdays that I'm off during like September and shit, and be like practicing around like the cul-de-sacs and everything while everybody's like already out to like school or whatever. I could be like, okay, I'm just gonna be like out here doing whatever. Learning to fall without hurting yourself is like practical parkour, so double the cool points. I mean, I did learn how to pratfall in theater camp, so make of that what you will. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited to get into skateboarding, and I'm excited to go in tomorrow and find myself a nice deck, because this has been a good week coming, and this is gonna be fun. So yes, you are going to see a Skater Made arc. I've even got a playlist of music. I've been listening to a lot of new music that I'll probably be talking about tonight on stream, just to get into the vibe. Falling on ice is a fundamental Canadian skill that I assume is transferable. It's really funny. I haven't actually slipped on ice in a very long time. I've fallen in a variety of other ways, though. I've slipped on I can't remember, actually. I've slipped a few times, though, but not on ice that very often, which is very funny considering I was born in Eastern Europe. Make of that what you will. Yeah, no, I mean, okay, I'll tell you this. I have slipped on beer in a mosh pit, because I was in a mosh pit in fucking Webster Hall once in 2021, and Webster Hall is not Webster Hall's like upper floor, like obviously the Webster basement is a different thing altogether. That the Webster basement is cool as fuck, but the actual like Webster Hall upstairs portion, the wooden floors are not very conducive to moshing. They're also very not conducive to having beer on them. But when you have a ton of people going to a fucking show for Virtual Riot and Wales, and everybody is grabbing beer and sipping it on the floor, you're going to have people spilling it in the pit. And I'm dead ass, there was a point where the entire pit proceeded to all fall over at once. Like, almost all of us in the mosh pit all fell over at once because there was so much fucking beer on the floor. And I want to make it known, I wasn't like wearing like my Adidas or my Converse or even like my typical fucking like Under Armour tactical boots. I was wearing Demonias. I was wearing fucking Demonias. I'm like, take this as advice, like strict advice from Aunt Sascha here. Do not mosh in Demonias. You will roll your ankle. You will roll your ankle if you mosh in Demonias. Don't fucking do it. Mal says, I was literally trained how to fall on ice. I thought that was normal. I haven't ever put that skill to use, but I was taught how. That's actually dope. Hope your boots didn't get fucked up. I didn't actually like really roll my ankle. Like I didn't really get like irrevocably physically hurt, but it did suck. My boots didn't, my Demonias are Trashvilles, so they didn't have heels, but they are platform boots. They are platform boots, and don't mosh in them. I think I've made that clear. Several inch platforms, yeah, don't do that. So I moshed and also slipped on beer while wearing fucking like multiple inch platform boots. Not a good idea. Also, that was a mistake to go around the streets of New York City in fucking like late November wearing like just sheer tights. Holy fuck, I was cold. Holy fuck, I was cold. That night actually kind of blew ass, because like the entire show I was going there with like, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but like, you ever go to a show or an event or an outing with a partner who like both of you have already kind of drifted apart from, and like at this point the breakup has already happened like weeks and weeks ago, both of you just haven't realized it yet? Going to a show with that person is fucking miserable. We were in New York City for almost 12 hours, and by the time we got home, the sun was rising. And I actually was starting to get auditory hallucinations because I had literally been up for almost 20 hours straight. Don't fucking recommend it. Don't go to a show like that. I had a way better time going to shows like, I don't know, like the Webster Hall basement when I went to go see fucking the crew from Never Say Die Records, or, you know, the fantastic time that I had out at High Caliber Festival, both 2018 and 2019. To say nothing of the even that one time I saw Slushy in like early 2019. That wasn't bad at all, especially because I got to see Bro Safari, and there were a couple of kids who thought that I was Porter Robinson. I don't know why that happened. Pop Celeste says, I worked at a punk bar for a hot minute and ate shit slipping on spilled beer. Ooh, yeah, that shit'll get you. And also, don't worry, y'all. My goth stompers are still in very good condition. I do need to polish them. But I haven't worn them in years. But I've been meaning to. Nate also asked about electric unicycles. That is so weird because I actually saw one of those for the first time yesterday, and that's I had never seen one before until yesterday. But I am only aware of those as of now, which is very funny to me. And no, they are not my vibe. I did used to have a mountain bike that I basically took everywhere with me. It was like, I had like a whole like route that I used to bike all around my town. And then I switched biking to going for like 1 a.m. walks around my neighborhood. And I guess now I'm just gonna start skating. Fuck it. Fuck it all. But I'm excited. So obviously y'all can expect me to be posting on my, on like fucking Blue Sky and in the Discord when I get a deck. because I'm so excited to get myself a nice new deck. And it was so funny too, because like when I went to the skate shop, half the time we weren't even talking about skating. Like the guy I was hitting it off with was a guy who was technically like he worked there, but he was off the clock that day. It was his day off, but he came in to like grab something or something. And he and I were hitting it off for like a good 20 minutes because like I forget who brought it up, but we were talking about like local punk and everything. I think I like name dropped hardcore. And he started talking about this one time he was at a Counterparts show, and this one friend of who's like over 6 feet, like there was like some dude in the pit who was like acting up and just being dangerous and a fucking idiot. And this dude's like 6 foot friend reached into the pit, grabbed him by his shirt, and literally yanked him out of it. But I was like, dude, did you fucking mention Counterparts? Is that a fucking Counterparts reference? Hey chat, hey chat, hey chat. Have you guys listened to Counterparts? If you guys listen to Counterparts, if you haven't, you should listen to Counterparts. They're out from Ontario, but they're one of my favorite bands. Their album, Difference Between Hell and Home, is probably one of my favorite like hardcore albums of all time. Counterparts are fantastic. Brendan Murphy is a really like funny guy. But he's also incredibly talented at lyricism, and a lot of my literature and prose in writing is heavily influenced by Brendan Murphy's lyricism. I love Counterparts. Although the one caveat that I'll have is try not to listen to Counterparts if you're not in a good headspace. Because a lot of Counterparts' music, especially after The Current Will Carry Us, is well, I mean, you can look at lyrics for songs like Winds of Plague to see what I'm talking about when I say it's definitely not music you want to listen to if you're not in a good headspace. What's the hook for Winds of Plague? Keep your distance from the flowers that will decorate my corpse, undeserving of a chance to watch them thrive. Counterparts is incredible music. Their instrumentation is stellar. Brendan's delivery on the mic is stellar. His lyricism is really, really well done and has extremely evocative wordplay. The way that he, especially on albums like Nothing Left to Love and You're Not You Anymore, kind of take this weird body horror approach to interpersonal like relationships and especially codependency is interesting. Describing codependent relationships with things like sew my skeleton to yours, I'm no good on my own, stitch yourself to either side of me so I will never be alone is it's pretty fucking poignant stuff. I love Counterparts to death, and I cannot recommend their music enough, but make sure that you're in a good headspace before you listen to them. And I'm also happy that Brendan is doing a little bit better, because especially from like the period of like whether it's like, you know, when they were releasing Difference Between Hell and Home, and you see lyrics like, what is it, at least I can say I tried to cherish every single day when I woke up and didn't want to die. I'd work my hands to the bone trying to stay suspended in those specific seconds. And then it's like, okay, dude, are you good, man? And then he gets to like, you know, You're Not You Anymore, and you're seeing lyrics like the first goddamn song in the album is what is it? Oh god, I can't remember the lyrics to like No Servant of Yours, but or No Servant of Mine, but big ups to Counterparts. Happy Brendan's doing better. Chat, please listen to Counterparts. I would heavily recommend listening to albums like Difference Between Hell and Home and Tragedy Will Find Us. They're a good starting point. And of course, You're Not You Anymore and Eulogy, for those still here, are also fantastic albums. My friend Ben, he actually gave me a 5-panel hat from Counterparts' Tragedy Will Find Us tour. It's got the logo for the album on it, and it's signed under the brim by Brendan Murphy. And I keep it safe. I keep it safe because Counterparts is important to me. And like I said, a lot of how I write wouldn't really have the form that it does if it wasn't for listening to as much Counterparts as I have. They're special. They're a special band to me. I have another band to yap about when I get into the game. Thank you for the sip redeem, Spooky. I'm actually going to do that right now. I've yapped for almost an hour. So how about we fucking do it? Because, oh, wait a second. Unfortunately, I am being yanked into a fucking op right now.
What?
You and Reigns know your ROE. Now lock and load. Do try not to get brainwashed again.
Always with the fucking brainwash. As if that was like a thing that I wanted to happen. You know, if you wanted to tease somebody for getting brainwashed, I think there's like 50 million people on Blue Sky you could go after, you stupid fuck.
But I digress. There we go. Alright, so here we are in Stalker 2. I've got work cut out for me because I wanted to get some stashes checked out, and obviously the last time we did one of these, which I think was 2 weeks ago, I'm considering just having Stalker Tuesday be... Oh, a sapphire. Better luck next time, homie. I'm considering letting Stalker Tuesday be a bi-weekly thing, just because having a Tuesday night open wouldn't be a bad idea, and also because I just seem to cancel every other Stalker Tuesday anyway. I don't want to do it, but, like... I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I might do it, but I think one of the only reasons why I wouldn't is because I still like being able to stream on Tuesdays, and on top of that, I fear the repercussions of me taking a stream where multiple people that I know of and I'm close with have stated that their like understanding and like perception of time is partially hooked around Stalker Tuesday to the point where if I stream Stalker on a Wednesday, they think they might have like missed a day or dissociated for a whole day, or if I don't stream Stalker at all, they just don't know what week it is. So I fear the repercussions of taking a stream that has that degree of impact on people's perception of time and cutting it down to once every 2 weeks. I fear the repercussions. I fear I may cause some type of time-space rift for, like, a large selection of people, and I don't want to do that. It would be kind of funny, though. It would be kind of funny. So, this did legit remind me that, yeah, that's how it is. Like, every time I used to raid Faye back in the day, I'd raid into her, and she'd be like, oh, you were playing Stalker? Oh, it must be Tuesday. Because, like, I got a lot of homies who are unemployed. I got a lot of homies who are unemployed. And take it from me, because when I first started VTubing, I quit my coffee job, like my coffee shop job in like August of 2022, and didn't get another job until like January of 2023. And I'm dead ass when I say that during that period of time when I was unemployed, it was legitimately impossible to really like tell what fucking day it was. I would frequently just kind of forget. So it's like, no, I get it, because if you don't have a, like, it's weird, because even my mom, who, like, works, like, a pretty, like, strict regimen in the summer, just does not really seem to know what day it is, unless it's the summer. She'll be like, oh, like, weren't you gonna do this today? And I was like, I said I was gonna do that on Wednesday, Mom. It's Tuesday. And she'd be like, oh, I'm an idiot. I'm like, no, you're not an idiot. You just kind of, like, have, like, an anchor for your time. And, like, obviously... because I run such a tight ship with my schedule, because it's like, okay, Tuesday I do a stream. Wednesday is when I do a Glock party, but only at the first of every month. Thursday is when I, what is it? Thursday is when I fucking, Thursday is when I also stream. Friday is movie night. Saturday is listening party. Sunday is a stream. Like, I have a strict regimen of a schedule, especially now that every Wednesday I basically spend the entire day offline. So, take that, because, like, if I do get a deck tomorrow, you're not gonna know until the day after. Sorry! But, I have a pretty strict, like, time schedule with, like, what I do each day, to the point where I should probably just have a daily agenda or something, but, like, you know, it is what it is. So... It's like hard for me to imagine losing track of time again because of how strict it used to be. Now, obviously, like, considering, you know, like, when I have, like, a lot of unemployed homies around me, I kind of feel good that I have this then, because it means I can also be somebody who helps my homies stay anchored in time, because it's easy to lose track of time when you're unemployed. Thusly, I like being that kind of person where it's like, Sasha, what day is it? I got you. I got you. Kim Tustis says, Faye's worst enemy is fine by me. If she doesn't know what time it is, I will attack her at dawn. Real. I should do that sometime, actually. Bada bing with a pipe. So anyway, we got mad stashes. we spent most of last week out in Duga, and the only stashes we have left are mostly impossible to access. There are a couple new ones I want to get. We haven't gotten to Pripyat yet, but we do have stashes in Pripyat. I basically cleaned this entire side of the map out, which is really funny. So I'm gonna go around the burnt forest because there's a lot more exploration to be done in the burnt forest we haven't done yet. This map has a lot of cool things to see, and I want to explore it more. So this is a good place to start. Because, I mean, it did take me like 10 fucking years to like actually get to the goddamn fog anomalous area. We're gonna be a little bit better about that tonight. So, obviously, the main issue or the annual problem for our generation is figuring out what I want to use as my fucking, like, my loadout for tonight. Now, okay, here's the thing. The Sascha loadout in Stalker 2, I guess at this point, there's practically an unwritten law of you can carry any gun you want as long as one of them is a Saiga. Straight up. Straight up. Give me a sec to sip my coffee, it's getting cold. It's good coffee. As much as I like the coffee that Nick's got, it wasn't quite to my taste. The, like, blonde / like combo roast she got was way too berry. Like, that's the thing. Is, I'm very weird about my coffee. If I'm having a regular cup of coffee, I don't want it to taste like anything other than coffee. If I'm getting, like, say, like a proper, like a proper, like, latte, or like a flavored latte with syrup, sure, I'll have it flavored, like, you know, like caramel or mocha or vanilla. But if this batch of, yeah, good. I appreciate that. I think they're interesting flavors, but that's my only issue with this brand that Nick's got, is that it has a lot of, like, they have like a lot of other flavors in the profile that I just don't really vibe with. Because I like my coffee. The house blend's okay, but it still tastes too much like there's like way too much going on in the flavor profile, and I prefer my coffee to just taste like coffee. It is what it is. So, as I was saying, when it comes to the Sascha Stalker loadout, you can have any gun in your loadout that you want as long as it's Saiga. But Sascha, why don't you want to use the KSG that you got? Well, here's why, because as I was saying, you know what, actually, I was having like an autism moment about this the other day, and I will show you firsthand. Nate says, speaking of coffee, I took my Nespresso in to get it repaired. Someone came in literally a minute after me with the exact same model. Huh. I'll be honest, I actually really liked my Nespresso because my mom had one. And it wasn't until after I started becoming a barista that I started really making, like, good use of it. Back when I used to work at the delivery department of my old job site, deadass, one of my favorite things to do was if I was working, because they used to give me closing shifts on Saturdays and opening shifts the next day, so I'd be coming home at 1 a.m. after, like, our mad amount of fucking orders on Saturday night would keep me till midnight. I'd be getting in at 1 and then, like, waking up around, like, probably falling asleep around 2 a.m., and then I'd have to get up at 5 for a 7 a.m. the next day. Not good. Wouldn't recommend it. I don't know how I didn't die. I don't know how I didn't die doing that for, like, almost, like, an entire year of nothing but come home at, like, 1 o'clock in the morning, fall asleep around 2, wake up the next morning at 5 to get ready for a 7, and then come home around, like, I want to say, like, 12 or 1 or even 3. Fuck that. Fuck that noise. That sucked. But, back when I didn't really have time to sit and sip, like, you know, regular morning coffee, what I used to do at that job is I'd use our Nespresso, and I actually have a milk frother, because I actually bought it for my mom, but she never used it, so I just used it, and then when I moved out, I took it with me. But it's a milk steamer and frother. It's just a little thing where you pour the milk in, you put the lid on it, you hit the button in your game. It can even make cold foam. And I've been considering making Nick's cold brew coffee. Maybe. I would like some cold brew coffee at some point, because I actually used to know how to make cold brew coffee. But, so, since we had a Nespresso, which I actually did measure out, like, I measured out, like, a proper, like espresso bars shot portion of espresso from our Nespresso. So it was only putting out like an actual shot's worth each time. I would make myself a double shot of espresso, some steamed soy milk, and I'd put in half a shot of Monin raspberry syrup and half a shot of white mocha sauce. So I would wake up on like my Sunday mornings and get ready to basically pull like the second half of like a fucking like grueling weekend double, and I'd start my morning on Sunday off with like a white chocolate raspberry latte. It was really fucking good. And sometimes I'd even go to work with like cappuccinos. Like it was kind of nice because you could make like cappuccino or like latte style like milk frothing. Or you can just like, you know, fucking like make your cold brew or whatever. It was gas. It was actually really gas. Yeah, I actually used to use the Nespresso a lot. I also used to make it, used to use it to make like, you know, like freezes or frappuccinos too. I'm a big coffee head. It's understandable if you ain't spooky. Ever since I first like tried a coffee machine when me and my family went out to Iceland in 2010, or like I think it was like 2008. Yeah, I think it was 2008. And there was a coffee machine in our hotel room. My fate was fucking sealed. My fate was fucking sealed. I'm so sorry. Let's see here. Biz says I won't fuss if I'm having coffee out of necessity, but when I can pick the flavor, I basically want coffee milk. Everything else tasted like dessert overdose. Yeah, it depends. Like if I'm like sitting down, and just like, you know, like for example, if I'm at like my local coffee shop that like is half a coffee shop, half an antique furniture or like retro style furniture store, and I'm sitting down in the back room while Frank Sinatra's playing, and I'm looking at like a really, really, really old television that's playing like an old like crime serial from the 30s. Yeah, I'm gonna get me like a fancy fucking, you know, like latte with the scissor and everything, and I'm gonna sit in the back, I'm gonna cross my legs, sit in a fucking chair, have myself some crumb cake, and I'm gonna feel like I'm living the fucking dream back there. But if I like gotta go to work, or I'm just waking up and like writing or doing something else, yeah, coffee, milk, sugar, nothing else. I keep it pretty simple. I don't, if I'm having like coffee, like regular fucking coffee, I don't want my coffee to taste like anything the fuck else other than coffee and milk and sugar. Nate said I had some local coffee from the plaza next to me. It's still your fave? Hell yeah. Finn says I do want flavors, but I don't want to feel like I just downed a whole sleeve of Oreos. That's fair. Nespresso special flavors can hit or miss. Yeah, I usually just get the Pete's Nespresso. That's like literally just like, it just is regular fucking Nespresso. Because like obviously if I'm getting like an Nespresso pod, ooh, a bubble, nice pull. If I'm getting a Nespresso pod, I don't want it to be flavored like anything, because I had the flavors myself later. Good luck with your shift though, Estelle. Be safe. Also, coffee man takes a coffee dump in a coffee can. Fuck you too. Latte girly, love my flavors. I am too. It's like this, okay? I'm a very situational girl. If I am just like having coffee just to have coffee in the morning, I just want it to, like, if I'm having a coffee cup, like, if I am waking up in the morning, I could go for a nice, like, flavorful latte if I had the means to do so, but I don't have an espresso anymore. But, like, if I'm, like, if I am going to my coffee machine and saying, I want coffee, I'm going to hit the button and brew it, I'm just going to have regular fucking coffee and drink, and like, having it with milk and sugar, and that's all. But, if I am, like, so I don't want any extra flavors in the profile unless I want them, is what I was getting at. Is that I don't want to have, like, a bag of, like, ground coffee and suddenly be tasting, like, berries and stuff in the grinds. I don't want the flavor profile to be all over the place. But I also love my lattes. I also like my cappuccinos. And sometimes I will even make myself a cortado. Cortados are good. I don't know if y'all have had those, but those are good. There's also macchiatos. I used to make pretty okay macchiatos back in the day, but since I worked at a coffee shop that unfortunately is in the same country where where fucking Starbucks exists, people would come in and say they would want a vanilla macchiato. We would make them a vanilla macchiato, and they would look at us and then be upset because we didn't make them a latte. Because Starbucks calls its lattes macchiatos, even though a macchiato is when you put in, like, you know, like a macchiato, like a traditional macchiato is when you like steam a fuck ton of milk and you froth the shit out of it. You make it very, very light and foamy, and you spoonful the foam into a cup, and then you pour some shots of espresso over it. That's what a macchiato is. But we would have Starbucks customers come in and ask for a macchiato and not know that they were getting a real macchiato, not just a latte with a fancy name. And that was always annoying. But I did like making them. Yeah, fuck Starbucks. Fuck them all. But I used to like making macchiatos, and I also used to like making cappuccinos. They're actually really fun. A cappuccino can be fun to make. Let's see. I miss drinking it, but I can't with my ADHD meds anymore. That's fair as hell. I'm weird with hot drinks. I like bitter teas, but sweet coffees. No, that's fair. That's fair. I used to really like, there's a really good, like, tea, from, like, one of my favorite brands. I can't remember which brand it was, but I think it was either Stash or a different one. But there was actually a, tea that I used to drink a lot that is, like, iced lemon loaf flavored tea. It's not sweetened. I don't want to drink, like, a dessert flavored tea and have it be sweetened, because unfortunately Red Rose does that a lot. Red Rose's, like, dessert teas that are flavored like cinnamon cake or blueberry muffin are all sweetened. I don't want them to be pre-sweetened. I don't want my tea bag to taste like fucking aspartame. I'm good. You know, there was like a really good like iced lemon loaf flavored tea, and I used to love drinking that, and I could go for some more of it again. Spooky, thank you for the stretch redeem. Let me go hit that real quick. Oh, I'm just sitting here yapping about fucking tea and coffee. Damn, tea and coffee, both brewed with hot water. That reminds me of something. Oh. All this talk of tea and coffee has me thinking about Robot Girl Yuri. I don't know why. So anyway, I said I was going to show y'all the reason why I'm not carrying the KSG. Allow me. So, here is the Saiga. It is a clip-fed semi-automatic shotgun, and it is now a staple of my arsenal ever since I killed Nimble's bitch ass out in Zaton months ago and picked it up off of him and fixed it up. The Saiga is a gun you are definitely not supposed to have super early on in the story, and I can show you why. Because you generally don't get a gun with this much firepower until you find a SPAS 12, which at earliest you can get when you go to Rostock and ace every single mission in the Mars Arena. Up until then, that is the only time that you are like, that is usually the only time that you are like unless you're like, if you're trying to keep everybody alive or keep like a semi-pacifist route. Generally speaking, without killing any major characters, that is the only, like, the first time you are generally expected to find a fully semi-automatic shotgun, with like a fully semi-automatic shotgun that has about an 8-round capacity. So the Saiga and the SPAS 12 can both spit rounds out at around the same speed, and they can both spit the same amount of rounds out. However, the major issue is that the Saiga technically has more firepower. Does the SPAS allow you to switch fire modes? No, it does not. Also, what the fuck happened here? What the fuck happened here? I mean, I'm not gonna lick a gift horse in the mouth, but this is a fucking bloodbath just fine. I'm sure it's not important. Anyway. So, yeah, no, the SPAS 12 unfortunately does not allow you to, the SPAS 12 does not allow you to switch fire modes. It is semi-auto only. I don't think there has ever been a SPAS, like a fully automatic SPAS in a Stalker game, funnily enough. So, that's the thing, is the SPAS technically allows you to fire off 8 rounds in a mag, pretty quickly. Same as the Saiga. However, here's what the Saiga has over that. So the Saiga is an 8-round capacity magazine, but if you tack reload and just keep the one in the chamber, you now have 9 rounds. You have a total of 9 rounds in your magazine, And on top of that, you can spit them all out relatively quickly, and of course, you have a magazine, which is a major upgrade. The KSG has a much higher capacity at 14, which is over 5 rounds higher than the Saiga, even if you just switch the mag out and keep the one in the chamber. However, here's the problem. Let's see how quickly I can let's see how quickly I can dump the entire KSG's magazine and then get a new one in. Okay, let me get a stopwatch going here. Okay. Okay, that's a whole mag in. That was about 5.76 seconds. Now, if I show you the Saiga, let's see how, with a fully topped off magazine, we can empty the whole mag. 1.39 seconds. You can dump the entire magazine in less than 2 seconds. And here's the best part. Here's the best part. If I time the reloads, right? So, Spas dumps an entire magazine plus one in the chamber at less than 2 seconds. Let's see the reload. 3.5 seconds. Now, if we go to the KSG, which took just a little under 6 seconds to dump its whole mag tube. Over 10 seconds. Over 10 seconds. So, yes. Does the KSG look cooler? Yes. Is it cool to be able to spit out 2 rounds in a double burst before you have to pump it? Yes. You still have to load it technically at least 2 for shell, like 2 for 2 shells at a time into the magazine tube. So it's a mag tube, which means you have to reload the shells individually, and also you have to pump it every single shot. Meanwhile, the Spas 12, yes, it does have less rounds in it, and yes, it does look a little bit more archaic, and it does have less options for, like, upgrades and attachments on it, but in the DPS race, you can basically clear a clip and end a bloodsucker in a single magazine. Like, if you clear a clip on a bloodsucker, that motherfucker goes down. No question. Maybe the KSG might be better in terms of, like, long range, but in fact, actually, no, the KSG has a shorter barrel. The Saiga may have worse range, even though it has a longer barrel. Don't ask me why that is. But generally speaking, unless, like, I don't really know why the fuck you would use a shotgun for, like, a long-range thing. And if I am using a shotgun for long range, I usually have, like, a Remington 870 that I've, like, kitted out to use, like, slugs with a rifle barrel instead. I'm not going to use a Saiga or a KSG as a long-range thing. It's either an over-under double barrel or a fucking, 870. So when it comes to being able to, like, clear a clip quickly enough to, like, end most mutants or most people, I'm sorry, but as cool as the KSG is, it absolutely loses to the Saiga, which can clear its entire 9-round full magazine in under 3 seconds and have another one ready to go in about that time. Be smart. Be efficient. Have a plan to kill everybody you know. These are things you have to consider when you're in the zone. They're just things you have to care about. This is the type of info that daddy's money doesn't fucking buy you. Kinda curious that a bunch of these stalkers just kinda all up and died out here. But, I mean, if I'm here... Wait. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, wait a second. Is that what I think is happening? Is that what I think is happening? So it looks like if a stalker's body, like, if a stalker dies, it looks like they've started, like, despawning their bodies into backpacks to, like, keep all of their inventory on them. I actually don't know if I like that. I might see if I can't find a mod to turn that off. I understand what they're doing here, but I would rather just have the bodies so I can move them, personally. And here's why I like to move the bodies. So we've got a whole bunch of fucking dead stalkers that just kind of up and died here outside of my base. And here's my personal favorite thing to do. I get close enough. Easy body disposal, right on my front door. It's kind of like you're kind of kicking yourself for not using it. Personally. All right, now I gotta go back to Banzai and upgrade both of my guns that I just dumped a bunch of fucking ammo out of. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if there's like an option to turn that off. Souped up garbage disposal. Yeah, you know. Game difficulty. Graphics. Yeah, I wonder if there's an option. I wonder if there's an option to, like, turn that off. Sasha wants to give them herself, not automatically. Someone sees all the Chris vectors you dumped outside, runs to pick it up, and immediately gets sent to the Shadow Realm. Good! Good, fuck them. Ah, Spooky, thank you for the compliments on the zoom-ins. I've had these since, like, 2022, and it's kind of, like, funny to, like, see that I, like, still get compliments about it, because, like, it's, like, I don't know. Like, when I started picking them up, most of the people I was rolling with all had them. And now it's like, huh. Interesting how time flies and things change. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's like a neat system to concept, but I don't really know if I want it because I would prefer there to be the bodies. Trust me, I will eat the cost of the system performance. I can tank it. I'm fine. I'm running this on a 4080. I have at least gotten a little bit better about like my whole like anxiety around like where the 480 came from. At least I'm using it for a good cause. That's all that matters. So as I was saying, I can keep any gun in my arsenal as long as it's a Saiga, but I do need to have something else. I would like to travel relatively lightweight, if I can, actually. If I can, because we've got a Saiga, so that's like our close range Punisher, right? I want something that does like decent far range in case somebody tries to corner me. However, longer range weaponry with like a decent weight transferal is difficult to find. Most longer range weapons obviously are going to have heavier barrels and carry heavier ammunition. Thusly, that's going to be a tall order. However, I have an idea. One of them was going to be to carry a VSS Vintorez, which comes in at about just a little bit under 3.2 kilograms without a magazine in it. The SVU is way fucking heavier, even though this is supposed to be a lighter variation of the SVD. A Mark 14 EMR is obviously off the fucking table. I could take that nice little AS Val, the Gabion I had that I like first got when I killed Faust or whatever. She's pretty lightweight, but the problem is she does have a shorter barrel, and she's probably built for like closer range combat. Also, here's the other issue, is that 9x39mm ammunition is heavy as fuck. I am not trying to carry 9x39. So, here's my other plan. Let me introduce you to my long range solution on a budget. This right here is the Ryman. This is a special edition only gun. You get it as part of the in one of the journalist stashes that is only available to you if you happen to have any of these special editions of the game. This is found just north of Rostock, and I never leave home without it. It is a Chris Vector. Reigns, eat your fucking heart out, girl prince, motherfucker. It is a Chris Vector, chambered, I think, in 9x19mm. Don't knock her for that. She's actually pretty powerful, but she has an integrated silencer and an extended shroud. She actually has pretty okay range for like an integrally suppressed weapon. And with an extended magazine, she has a magazine size of about like 30 rounds, but I can knock it down to 20. And if I wanted to, I can basically switch this off to semi and kind of make this into like a sort of like weird like makeshift DMR. That's one of my favorite things to do with guns in any game, is to basically just turn them into things they're not supposed to be. So if I wanted to, I could probably see about grabbing a Chris Vector, putting a suppressor on it to increase the barrel size, and kind of just making a weird monstrosity out of it. So for a longer range thing, if I'm going to be walking around with a Saiga, obviously, let me go look at the range comparison here. So for example, if I wanted to look at, okay, the veteran. Okay. Yeah, she does have less range, but the veteran is still heavier. Oh, wait. Never mind. The Ryman is heavier. However, the ammunition is going to be lighter. So... yeah, they're all about the same weight. But... huh. Wow. So, I have one idea then. Do I have an unupgraded Chris Vector here? If I don't, I can afford one. Are you converted into 45... are you converted into 45 ACP, my darling? Let me see. Because if you are converted into 45 ACP... no, you're still in 9x19. Okay. So real quick, let me see if a shopkeeper here is currently selling a an untouched Chris Vector. Otherwise, there's one over there I can just pay to fucking pay to repair or upgrade. It's in this huge batch of guns that I just fucking dropped. Gotcha. Chris Vector. All of these are in complete dog shit condition. That's okay though. So I'm gonna get a little bit funky with it. You're sitting at 38, 30, and 26. Okay. So we've got a decent amount of money here. But, if I'm going to be going on an extended expedition, I do want to get silly with it. The gun anomaly. No, real shit, real shit. Bonsai, I need your help. Here we got an Integral A. She only costs a little bit under 6,000 to repair, which if I were to go to a shopkeeper and see about buying a gun off of him, one, he doesn't sell a Chris Vector anyway, and two, the price would probably be exorbitantly higher. Ew. Everybody boo and hiss at the fucking Israeli rifle. So I'm gonna go back to, I'm gonna save before I do this, obviously. We're gonna go back to Bonsai, we're gonna grab this Integral A. We're gonna repair her. First off, go into there and we are going to grab enough upgrades to change the caliber to 45 ACP. Decrease the recoil, change the caliber. Over here, we want recoil decrease or spread decrease. We want a flash suppressor to decrease the spread and increase the accuracy at longer ranges. Slowing spread increase. Replacing the barrel material mitigates stress from uneven heating, resulting in a slower increase in spread during firing. So this allows us to fire at sustained periods for longer. Bullet velocity allows the gun to go for farther. And we want to increase the range. Actually, the range is already pretty decent, but if I upgrade the rifling for better armor piercing power, though if I am using 45 ACP, it'll probably be okay anyways. We also want to, readiness and aiming speed. Neither of these actually have any bearing on the range, so we don't need to worry about any of these. However, I am torn between whether I want to go with range or AP. Personally, since I can use Hydroshock rounds to increase the armor piercing anyway, probably better if I increase the range just to be safe. Is also not for nothing, but I think a suppressor will actually negatively impact the range. On top of that, we want a nozzle compensator. Comes for a significant reduction in recoil, but worsens the handling. And if we're going to be using this as a sort of like weird fucked up DMR, we are going to be using it. Also a tactical foregrip for further recoil reduction. And for some reason, this particular dude just can't put a fucking laser sight on this thing, but we're not going to worry about it. Nate says, I was just talking to another server about how the top rated ARs in Days Gone are the Honey Badger and the Tabor. You know what's really nice about Stalker 2? Stalker 2 has a Ukrainian ripoff of the Tabor. Stalker 2 has a Ukrainian ripoff of the Tabor. That is like way better. I think it's the Fort 221. So obviously I will use that over a real like Tabor Tar 21. Honey Badger, my beloved, though. The Malyuk. Well, the Malyuk is also really good. Yeah, the Malyuk is a completely bona fide, like a completely bespoke weapon that the Ukrainian army made. The Malyuk literally means the baby. They designed their own bullpup rifle that fires 545 and they called it the baby. That's adorable. What did they do with the 45 caliber in Stalker 2? I heard the MAC-10 is not that good. What about the Vector? I mean, to be honest, I'll take it over 9x19 just because 45 starts appearing more late game. It is their child. The Malyuk is basically Ukraine's John Connor. Make of that what you will. So, okay. So now, imagine naming a gun after the baby. Yeah, Ukraine was like, it was like, all right, Ukraine, you're being invaded by one of the biggest, most overly militarized countries in the entire world. What are you gonna do? And they were like, let's go. I saw a full showcase and I love that the reload is an inverted AK. Now we have basically built ourselves a weird, fucked up, like longer range vector. So of course I'm going to be getting a suppressor and a scope for it. And I'm also not going to be bothering with a, I'm not going to be bothering with like a, what is it? I'm not going to be bothering with a, fucking extended magazine or a reflex sight. She's fine. I didn't realize it before, but you made one of my favorite Stalker videos. Wait! You're talking about the fucking Tommy Wright Stalker? Okay, it is so funny now that I am having people come into my chat who have seen that video before they've met me or tuned into my streams, and then been like, wait, you're the one that made the Tommy Wright Stalker video? And I'm like, yeah, you bet your ass I am. or the Zone FM video. Yeah, I did a Tommy Wright Stalker video. It's like coming up at like 125,000 fucking views. I don't understand it, dude. The second wave of the Tommy Wright sweep is anomalous at best. Yep, I made that in like December of 2023, and I also at one point when I was hanging out in VC with the rest of the hate crew, I forgot that my user LTX file was still the same one I had when I like made that video. So for one night only in the VC, a bunch of my friends got to see a live reenactment of the Tommy Wright video. The Zone FM. Thank you. I made that Zone FM video while I was in VC with a bunch of like completely zooted trans femmes who were talking about everything and nothing, and I wasn't paying attention. I was like, give me a second, I gotta go cook something up. West Side Branch. I was proud of West Side Branch because that video was a complete fucking fever dream. But I was proud of it. Okay, and then of course, so we've got our close range problem solver, our Saiga D12 with regular 12 gauge shells, because you really don't need anything more. She gets it done. For our long range, because I want to travel light, we are going to be using an Integral A, which is converted into a weird, fucked up, slightly longer range, like carbine thing. I've basically turned like a close range bullet hose into some weird kind of inbred carbine, and I'm kind of here for it. And of course, for our sidearm, we are going to be using Skiff's pistol. I put a lot. I know what y'all are probably saying, Sasha. We're over 2 hours or almost 2 hours into stream. How have you not actually left the safe area yet? Because I put work into my prep. A good stalker puts as much work into the prep for going out as she does into actually going out. You watched that video 12 times. I'm happy to hear that. Because here's the thing, right? A full thing of 45 ACP ammo, but armor piercing, is sitting at 3.6 kilograms. Let's look at how many rounds of 9x39 if I was happening to be using... thank you, Kim Tustis. I appreciate that. Let's look at how much a full thing of 9x39 would be in that capacity. Look at that. It is over 1.5 kilograms more. So the gun may be lighter, but you pay for it in the ammo weight. So as I start to stack up more ammo, it's probably better to have a slightly heavier gun, but way lighter ammunition. So I'm keeping that in mind. Anyways, I am of course going to be using Skiff's pistol because Skiff's pistol is great. You literally cannot drop it. It's extraordinarily useful. Upgraded, it's pretty decent stats-wise. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. You have Mac mod? I like to look at my stash 2 or 3 times because last time I ran out of ammo and loaded an empty mag. Oh, that's rough. All right, well, now I am finally ready to go out into the fucking zone and start doing my thing. Let me put some tea on. Kim Tustis, since I'm just finishing up my coffee, I'm probably going to make up some regular, some lemon, I think it's like lemon ginger tea, for the better part of just keeping my voice afloat. Now, I want to grab some food, too, so I got 5 sausages, 3 Taurus Delight, that should be fine. A Warrior's PP Bison in Stalker 2? Define Warrior's PP Bison, because I actually don't know what you're referring to. Remember, I'm that weird kind of Stalker player, where I have been playing Stalker for, like, over half of my lifespan now, because I picked it up in early 2010, and now, I somehow still am learning things about the games that I haven't known before. The Vityaz, oh, the PP, right, that one, the Vityaz. I don't think we have a Vityaz in this game. We have a Bison, but not a Vityaz. A friend of mine translated to me, so I have to make the joke. I see now. So, time to go hunting for stashes. Oh, right, I should probably switch you off into semi. Alright. Gaze at my weird, fucked up carbine in despair, Chernobyl. So, the burnt forest is an interesting area that I like a lot. Let me also put the tea on real quick. Oil for black. Where is... Here we go. Twinings, lemon, and ginger. Lemon and ginger is a personal staple of my tea arsenal. It's very good for keeping my voice in good standing. It tastes nice. It's good for my digestion. Lemon and ginger is good. I also used to just kind of have like this jar full of turmeric that I mixed with honey to basically make like a weird like kind of like tea mix out of it. I just kind of like boil some water and get a big old fucking glob and a spoonful and just drop it in. Tasted really good and it was good for my voice. So now I got the tea on. Thank you, Kim Tustis, for that. Bigelow's salted caramel and a bowl of Nora's chicken. Ooh. You know, it's weird because I'm more of a pastaroni and rice-a-roni girl, but I should go for more Nora's. Ha! So here's the thing about the burnt forest. The burnt forest is always burnt because for reasons I don't really know if they're actually explained at some point, there is just lightning that strikes at random all the time in the burnt forest. All the fucking time. Every, like, minute or so, lightning will strike somewhere, so the forest is never really able to, like, fully grow back. It actually reminds me of a pine barrens near where I lived, where back in the 90s it had a pretty major fucking brush fire, like, the entire stretch of trees you can see all, like, you could basically see almost across the island, whenever I used to drive past it, because all of the trees are so burnt and have never really fully grown back. So they're all just completely stripped. That's your secret to yap and not lose your voice. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I do still lose my voice. Because need I remind everybody of the first time I did a Stalker 2 stream, which was on the game's launch night. 1, I hadn't streamed for a good while before it. 2, I spent the entire night before it, like the weekend before doing the, like... So, the Stalker 2 stream on the launch night, a couple nights before it, I had spent recording vocals for a song. Vocals for a song that was like a NASCAR Allo / like City Morgue inspired trap metal song. So like there's like somewhere on one of my externals is like 50 different like vocal cut-ins of me going ah, and like really fucking my voice up. And so a Stalker 2 stream at like that went for almost 6 sustained hours when I hadn't streamed in a few days beforehand. And several days beforehand, I had also fucked up my voice doing a trap metal song. I went up to go get like my tea or use the bathroom halfway through the stream after like 3 or like 3.5 hours in. I come back. And I kind of sounded like this, and I was like, oh my god, dude, my voice. Oh my god, my voice. What the fuck? It was like, I was like, oh, so that's, I'm using I'm having some tea right now. I'm gonna be taking care of my voice tomorrow. It was fucked up because like it was one of those instances where like I'd be going for a while and like I wouldn't start noticing my voice was kind of starting to like rasp a little bit, and then I didn't notice my voice was starting to rasp, and as soon as I get up and I like stopped talking for a second and then I sat down, I was like, oh my god, oh my god. It was really bad. It was really bad, but it was funny as fuck. Oh, that's gonna kill me. Okay, there's like a fuck ton of radiation there. Could have cosplayed the Wishgrounder voice. Oh, not bodies, but that would have been fun. Holy shit, I gotta take... It's boiling. Ah. Here, my darling. Pour me up a shot of that good stuff. Perfect. Alright. He's poured up. Let me set my timer. Because I do have my 4-minute tea timer. Gotta pay attention to the cat. She's doing that again. Many reds. Yeah. I wouldn't mind singing a Drowning Pool song. You're actually going to be surprised because my favorite Drowning Pool song is not Bodies, it's actually Feel Like I Do. Off of their self-titled, where I think the vocalist of Soilwork was on deck. Okay, hold up. Let's go! I did it! Does the victor go to the spoils? What do we got? I didn't actually grab what was in the box. Fuck me sideways. Hold up. Oh, okay, we're clear. Hit back that good shit and let's keep moving. Oh, shit. Where? Ah! Oh, not the fucking rats again, dude. Come on. Huh? Where did the grenade go? Oh, wait. This might be a perfect opportunity. Let's go. Come on, rats, over here. Come on, don't you feel the fire? There we go. Okay, you know what? Credit to those weird, insane, fucked up fire hose anomalies that what just happened to my voice? They do take care of rats good. Alright, well, I don't know if I actually have a silencer for my SVD or my SVU. If I don't need one, I guess I can sell it. Now, this always perplexed me here. Because, like, one of my favorite things about Stalker 2 is sometimes you will just find shit that isn't explained. Like, stuff that technically doesn't follow your present understanding of the zone. Like, for example, when you know how most of the anomalies work in gameplay, you'll find some anomalies that technically don't fit inside those understandings. I know what most of the anomalies that appear in Stalker are, but I'll still find some anomalous things that don't fit those descriptions. But they're not like malevolent, or they're not damaging or harmful. They're just kind of weird. And I don't quite understand it. This is one good example. One of my other favorites is that there's that one factory in the garbage that has like fucking like the tiles of the decorative mosaic on the side will just fly off of the wall and dance in these really cool patterns. That's never explained, but it's pretty. This is another example. So it appears to be a gravitational anomaly that has lifted this rock out of the ground. But if I break the bubble, it doesn't quite cause it to fall. That is so weird. There's nothing inside of the bubble either, unfortunately, in case you were wondering. I've checked the last time I came here. Anyway, we got more stashes to go check. The burnt forest is a large, wide open place, and there's a few locales I've been to in it that I still haven't really fully cleared out before. This is a good opportunity to. Alright. Huh? Oh, shit. Oh, this is a good time to fucking test out the vector. Oh, and he goes down. Well. The weird fucked up vector carbine does still need to prove itself against more heavily armored enemies, but at the very least, this shit points and clicks on bandits like a Sierra Online game. I'll take it. Like, this shit puts them to sleep, dude. This shit lays my enemies to rest faster than the Damn, why you just got his ass out like that? This shit fucking lays my enemies to rest quicker than a fucking video essay. The rock has gained anti-gravity properties, thank you, sea consciousness. God damn it, dude. It's always the fucking sea consciousness in these parts. Okay, good. I also have my wooden stirrers on my desk and my honey. Because my preferred method of sweetening my tea is clover honey. I'm actually a really big fan of wildflower and clover honey. Golden honey is too basic for me. Whenever I want to splurge, I'll actually get, like, raw, unfiltered, like, whipped honey that's really creamy and thick and nice. I'll go with that, but whenever I'm on a budget, I'll just get, like, you know, like, basic fucking, like, clover honey. Okay, so I've been here before. I would do the intro of Earl Sweatshirt's, Solace if I could. Okay. So last time I came through here, there were mad rats. There was also a pseudo-giant. There was also a pseudo-giant, so I want to play it safe here. I am also presently, spotted by something bad, so I gotta play it safe here. Okay. Wait. I hear radio static. Wait, let me pull out Skip's pistol in case we're dealing with a psionic threat. More rats. That's a fuck ton of rats. Okay, hold on a second. So there's rats out there. Or there were anyway. So the stash is right over there. And it's got a suit on it too, which is good. Oh, just be careful. Be careful, Skiff. Don't fuck it. Ooh, this is precarious. Got it. It's a suit from Spark, I think. It's kind of hard to tell the suits from Spark and Malachite apart. Well. Huh. Not bad. I actually kind of aced that. Oh. So it's really fucking evil because they've got a fire anomaly there, which like usually requires you to like, if you don't toss a bolt beforehand, you kind of want to be quick about it. But there's also the broken glass there that prevents you from going fast. Keeping an anomaly like in your game that physically like prevents the player from going fast, or else they literally bleed out instantly, is a cool mechanic. It's a great way of playing around with so many other things that are usually easy to avoid by just running through them. And then the way you can complicate a fairly by-the-books engagement or scenario by forcing the player to go slowly. It's a thing that I saw used to great extent in the Resident Evil 2 remake, where the lickers are blind, and thusly they only really hunt you down by sound. Thusly, it's very easy to just walk around. Ooh, a devil's mushroom. Nice pull. Welcome on in, Amy. They should let me into the zone. Yeah, I'm sure you would, honey. I'm sure you would. Good to see you, Mercy. But, like, it's funny because, like, the lurkers in Resident Evil 2 are fairly easy to avoid by just, like, walking around them, because there's, like, an are you paying attention test where one jumps through the fucking ceiling, and if you just, like, calmly walk around the side of him instead of actually attacking him, you could just leave and you never have to worry about him again. But considering one of the major enemies in the game, the, like, constantly chasing you Mr. X, is always walking just like slower than your sprint speed, but faster than your walking speed. If you enter into an area with, say, zombies or lurkers or lickers or anything, you can probably try to avoid or walk slow enough to, like, not alert. If Mr. X walks into the room, you no longer have the luxury of walking slowly to avoid a combat scenario. Now you have to book it, and you have to reap the consequences of that, which is dope as fuck. Alright, well, here we got some armored enemies here, so let's take a look at you, darling. So she has really good range and recoil control. As I suspected, her damage output on, like, mostly armored enemies, especially enemies who are, like, wearing this degree of armor, is it does leave a little bit to be desired, but if I'm trying to skimp on my weight, this is the best I can do. Maybe I should have gone for that, armor piercing, or, like, armored piercing, like, stat upgrade instead. Because, I mean, granted, you want to make sure you have good effective range, obviously. Oh, he's running. He's fucking running. No, he's just running. He has just decided he doesn't want to smoke anymore. And, who am I to tell him he shouldn't? Hey! Hey, hey, hey! Oh my god, that was kind of gruesome. Let's get a good look at you, buddy. Where you from? I'd put my money on these guys being mercs. Yeah, these guys are mercenaries, alright. Fucking dime a dozen scumbags. I should do a knife run of the RE2 remake. You absolutely should. I love the RE2 remake so much. It is one of the best games I've ever played of its type. Do we have anything else in this area? Yeah, there's 2 other stashes hidden in this area, so I should go grab the other one. So, research done. The weird vector carbine does put down bandits really quickly, but it suffers when dealing with very heavily armored enemies, like, for example, exomercs. So we'll just have to be careful about that. I think I can probably... Oh. I can probably, like, remove one of the existing upgrades and put that one in, so I can probably just revert the upgrade back and then switch it out and see how it goes. Because, I mean, no matter what, if you're going to be using, like, 45 ACP, like, you know, there's, You're kind of, like, capping your damage output no matter what, but... Huh, that's all there is, huh? Isn't there a whole second floor to this building? Aha! I should play more of the RE2 remake myself, because the last time I played it on stream was my literal PNG debut all the way back in, like, fucking, like, April of 2022. Like, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. I would like to stream it again. Like, I've streamed the RE4 remake. Well, actually, no, I never actually streamed the RE4 remake. I only streamed the demo of it with Venji, which was a blast, I might add. I need to do another stream with Venji. He's a real hoot and a fucking holler. That's a funny owl pun, Sasha. Huh. Perfect. I see these fucking antennae and I just shudder. I'll tell you what I do like, though. I think it's really cute that I get to look up at these antennae and see, like, a bird's nest up there. Like, to see, even after all the damage that the group has done, most of their infrastructure is still just being used as, like, houses for birds. It's kind of clever. Nature has absolutely zero fucks to give about everything the group did. Okay. So, we've got a whole ton of fucking, ooh. We got an artifact here. But it's right in the middle of a huge fucking thermal anomaly. Life, finds a way indeed. Alright, Alexa, play the Jeff Goldblum laugh type beat. Okay. Play my cards just right. Holy fuck, this is a lot. Oh, he's moving. Huh. Aha! Wait, I got you! Let's go. What are you, my darling? You are a dead sponge. Ain't she cute? Anyway, I ran past the stash. It's all the way over here. It's in between some of these tanks. Fuck! Ouch! Okay, it's right on the other side of that. A high-capacity AS Lavina mag. Well, I guess I can kiss my fucking suit durability goodbye. Hate when the artifacts grow legs and walk away. Ah, better luck next time, Nixie. The dead sponge does look cool. I'll give it that. Y'all mind if I... Oh shit! Oh shit! That's... Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay. Wow, that was insane. I just... Huh. I guess it was just my time to go. I guess it was literally just my fucking time to go. Like, they just ran up on me. They just fucking ran up on me. Like, the zone said, your fucking time is up, ho. Oh, I guess I gotta do this again. Whoa. I'm slick with it, though. Oh, I got you now, ho. Ah! Oh. For a man in prison for doing some shit. Say I'm gonna go to prison for doing some shit. Only thing on my mind was booming a bitch. 12 Stout Street, I hated that house. Had to learn early on being a man about. The rats can be a little bit quirky. Rest in peace, you poor fucking freedomers, but skill issue also. I simply would not sell out my faction and proceed to become a bunch of ANCAP fuckheads with absolutely zero values. It's surprisingly easy to not turn into an ANCAP with zero values. I do it every day. Rip your boys in green. Oh, these are Stalker 2, Freedom. They ain't your boys no more. They ain't been your boys. Let's keep it 100. We got an undiscovered area over here. Where's Ashot? That's actually a good question, because Screw is the, who used to be in the, army warehouses base in Shadow Chernobyl, now hangs out in, he now hangs out in the, Freedom base in the 100 Rads. If Yar is around, I haven't met him yet. He might be, because I haven't gone to Yaniv in a fat minute. He might be at Yaniv, or he might be in Pripyat. Because I need you to understand, I have not beaten this game yet. There's a lot of this game I haven't seen yet. So everything up here, here, and here, all of these areas I haven't been to yet. Everything else I have, but I have not. Also, I like it, there's just like a nice little stretch in between Wild Island and Cordon that isn't Wild Island, Cordon, or Zatan. There's just, this little spot here is fucking no man's land. There's nothing going on here. I've been to the present Freedom base, which is now Rostock. Screw is the mechanic there. I haven't seen Ashot or Yar anywhere. I have been to the old Freedom Base and the Army warehouses, which are right here. These are now completely abandoned. There is nobody here, except for a bunch of bloodsuckers and their stash, like their main armory stash, where the door code is 6969. Laugh now. I've also been to the Red Forest. Nobody there by that name. I've been to Yantar, and I have word that, what's his name? Freedom has taken Rostock. Yeah, Freedom runs Rostock now. Well, this is because okay. If you can imagine like a weird fucked up corporatized version of the Ecologist, because the Ecologist faction kind of split off into two versions. There's now Malachite, who are basically the present, what is it? They're like the present iteration of what the like Ecologists in the classic Stalker games are, where they're the like government-funded scientists or whatever. That's what Malachite is. The other half is Circa, who are a bunch of corporatized wackos, and their base looks like this. And they're all about commercializing the zone, like taking old X-Labs designs and adapting them for like commercialized things like combat armor or more. Also, their headquarters blew the fuck up. When Circa came to the zone, they basically hired a giant paramilitary force known as the Ward, who proceeded to completely overwhelm everybody and say, all right, Freedom, Duty, if you motherfuckers don't start playing nice, we are just going to kill all of you. That is the choice you're left with. Freedom and Duty are technically under a ceasefire, though they don't really, like, officially obey it very well. Freedom now runs the bar. Duty have been pushed all the way out to living like absolute chumps out here in the cement factory right near the cooling towers. Right near the unfinished, like, Chernobyl 5 reactor. So Duty are a bunch of chumps living out here. Freedom now runs Rostock. They've also gone full ANCAP, prototype the new currency that everybody in the zone uses called coupons. They sold the fuck out. Freedom sold out and they suck. Also, both Duty and Freedom have their own hands in the Bandit game. So there are two major sides of like the garbage is now presently being warred for by several different bandit warlords, and most of them are bought out by either Duty or Freedom, and basically being supplied, funded, and of course funneling supplies to them. Both Duty and Freedom are kind of connected to different bandit warlords who happen to be fighting each other over control of the garbage. The Duty was running, I think his name was Roosevelt, who happened to be running the commissary. I killed him. Freedom was payrolling a guy named the Shah out here in the Brood. I also killed him. So both Freedom and Duty's bandit warlords that they were using as means to like funnel extra cash to and fro, both of them are dead. I killed them. So Freedom and Duty are now scattered, sold out, and corrupt as fuck. Duty are, well, there wasn't really much to be a shadow of to begin with, but Duty are a bunch of, like, extra washed up fuckheads, to the point where, like, you can meet a guy from Duty and he's, like, a perpetually drunk loser who has absolutely nothing to go for in his life. Duty are washed up and Freedom are sold out. So, yeah, your boys in green, I'm sorry, dude. Your boys in green fell off. The bubble jug? Nana, what's the bubble jug? Sascha putting in work. Look, motherfucker, you tell me that, like, look, back in Shadow of Chernobyl, you want to be like, okay, who's, like, the guy running the bandits? It's Borov. Clap him. Who's the guy running the bandits in fucking, Call of Pripyat? It's Sultan. Oh, by the way, did I mention Sultan and Beard are both dead and I also killed them? Did I mention that Sultan and Beard are both dead and I killed them too? I killed Nimble. To be honest, if I could kill Voronin and Lukash, I'd also kill them. Look, alright. Look, the zone is allowed to exist as an extension of a common human cycle of violence that has been perpetuated for generations, and even in a space that mankind has sent all the way back to its wildest roots through their attempts at failed futurism, these aspects of human cycles of violence continue to perpetuate themselves. Somebody needs to make some new fucking rules, and those rules are going to be written by me through violence. I'm just saying. Netta, I need you to explain what the bubble jug is. Because you be coming in and you be kind of like name-dropping things, but you don't ever actually explain what they are. Alright. Thank you for the stretch redeem, by the way. Oh! Oh, right! Okay, so there are artifact scanners, because, when Saiga came here, they adapted, Stalker X-Lab technology, and they basically just fucking stole it. And they utilized it to create a bunch of new designs for technology that they, like, sell to stalkers. A big part of the artifact scanner is that you're supposed to be able to turn them on and, like, near an anomaly, and they will charge up an artifact for you. However, most of Saiga also has a lot of corrupt fuckheads, and a big part of how the bandits make their money is lending these artifact scanners to stalkers, saying, you can use these to help yourself find artifacts or charge your artifacts, and then they basically just let people either get killed with them or just die of their own means. So even the artifact scanners are corrupt as fuck, but, they're also stolen from X-Lab Designs, and obviously Saiga is never going to openly say that they stole it from X-Lab Designs. The more things change in the zone, the more they stay the fucking same, as you can tell. Speaking of the ward... Oh, buddy! Speaking of the ward... Fucking rent-a-cops. The power of friendship in this gun I found. See, here's the thing. Obviously, in Stalker 2, they couldn't just have the big bad guys be the military anymore. So, they're partially the ward. That guy also just capped his own friend, by the way. They're partially the ward, who are extremely corrupt rent-a-cops, who are all being sent out by the, they're extremely corrupt rent-a-cops being sent out by the fuckheads in, what's it called? Saiga. Or, wait, are these guys duty? Are these guys duty? Did I piss off duty by accident? That appears to be a dutier. That could be a problem. I did not mean to piss off duty. But, so they're either the ward, who are a bunch of, like, shitty rent-a-cops, or they're the IPSF, which is the, International Perimeter Security, something. International Security Perimeter Fuckheads, or whatever. Perimeter Security Fuckheads. Anyway, the ward fucking suck. The ward sucks and nobody likes them. But the IPSF are worse. Because the IPSF are the most nakedly corrupt shitheads you will ever meet in your life. Nobody likes them. They are the easiest people to shit on. And, on top of that, most of the time, like, most of the instances where you hear about Monolith, most of the instances where you hear about, like, Monolith agents, like, surfacing and fucking shit up and nobody doing anything about it is usually because of the IPSF, because there happened to be a Monolith agent embedded within an IPSF compound or stronghold. And obviously, the IPSF absolutely give zero fucks and are the most nakedly corrupt people in the entire fucking zone. There is literally nothing wrong with slaughtering the IPSF en masse. It is always morally correct to kill the IPSF. Especially because of how they treat regular stalkers. Shoot them on sight. Oh, baby, it's a pedal. So it is always morally correct to shoot the IPSF. And those are basically, like, so the way that Stalker used to treat the Ukrainian military, that is now split between the IPSF and the ward. So make of that what you will. Anyways, So here's what happens when you activate an artifact scanner. Now, what you want to do is you want to run away from it as fast as you fucking can. And just watch it go. This is good sausage. Oh! It spawned a Pyrogeist. That's really great. That's really great. That's cool. Thank you. Goodbye. I'm out of here. Fuck this. Well, at least it gave me a magma. It's always fun to see people who've been playing Stalker for a really long time come back and be like, I haven't played Stalker 2. What happened to my favorite faction? And I'm like, oh, dude. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. Just like, oh, dude, I'm so fucking sorry about your favorite faction. Like, dude, your favorite faction kind of got hosed. Your favorite faction kind of really got hosed. Oh, dude, what happened to my boys in green? They sold out. They're ANCAP. What happened to my boys in duty? Oh, they all drunk themselves into a stupor and they're stuck in a factory and nobody wants to see them anymore. What happened to the Ukrainian military? They're not even here. Did that pan out with, like, every faction? Yeah, it feels like almost every faction from the original series is now a shadow of their former selves. Ooh, a moonlight. Not a bad pull. Cause like, the fucking... Okay, let's, like, run down it. The bandits are actually doing kind of okay for themselves, even if they're, like, slightly more, like, widespread and, like, overexpanded. The bandits have kind of overextended. Because, like, now, instead of just being, like, a bunch of, like, Gopniks under mostly one guy's control, the bandits are now multiple, like, subsectors of, like, different, like, chapters that are all being run by different warlords of the garbage. The fuck is that noise? The bandits are now, like, multiple different subsectors and chapters all being run by several different garbage warlords. Okay. The renegades don't exist. The UNASG... I have heard the UN is actually in this game. Technically. But they're only mentioned so far. Freedom. Sellouts. Caved to the ward and proceeded to become a bunch of ANCAPs who now run the bar and don't care about anything. Duty. Caved to the ward. Now just live on the outskirts of town and drink themselves into a stupor, remembering their earlier days. Both Duty and Freedom also have their own hands in the fucking, in the Bandit Warlord games right now, so they're also extremely nakedly corrupt. The Ukrainian military, not here. Chased out and replaced by the nakedly corrupt IPSF and the nakedly corrupt ward. The ecologists split into Malachite, who are actually good, and Circa, who are not, who are basically Zone Tesla. Make of that what you will. Then, what else? Clear Sky, no trace, gone, nothing. In fact, the Clear Sky base is, the Clear Sky base has been locked up and, completely, like, closed off with psychic emitters. Also, it's implied that, Professor Kalancha / Bean Palev from Stalker Clear Sky is one of the main antagonists from this game after he got turned into a monolithian. The monolith? Well, the monolith are doing just fine, actually. The monolith are doing just fine. The mercs, well, the mercs are still doing their same scummy fucking thing. They're the same as they ever were. And the loaders are all just kind of doing their thing. So generally speaking, most of the more, established and well-equipped factions from the, original games are kind of a mixed bag right now. Sleep says, I just want to hang out with ganja and ash out and smoke weed. Well, the heart wants what it wants. So what I need is on the other half of this. There's a stash right in there. The fucking lightning, dude. Aha! That's a pitiful thing to find in a stash. Is Sidorovich is not just okay. He's living it up, but he's still the same piece of shit he always was. There's an entire mission where he sends you after a bunch of stalkers who are trying to set up their own independent traitor faction. Like a guy who is actually trying to become like his own independent trader in the cordon. And Sid sends you to kill him because he's mad that he's not getting a cut. And if you don't kill him, Sid sends guys to kill you. Yeah, no, Sid's doing fine. Sid, also, did I mention that now that Freedom runs the bar, now that Freedom runs Rostock, the actual bar in Rostock is the center building where the arena runs. The arena runs underneath the Rostock bar, which is like now the main center building. It's a much bigger bar and it's much livelier. The original 100 Rads is still there in Rostock, but I'll tell you right now, the original 100 Rads is a shadow of its former self, because at this point, the only people who hang out there are barkeep and drunk old wash-ups who want to remember their glory days. Going into the Freedom Run bar in the center building of Rostock is actually kind of cozy because it's lit by hanging Christmas lights. It's got nice music on. Everybody there is chill and relaxed and talking about whatever. You go into the 100 Rads, it is depressing. The 100 Rads is depressing because the only people who hang out there now are a bunch of old veteran wash-ups. I'm so sorry, dog, but your faves are chopped. Your faves are so chopped, dude. Who the fuck spotted me? I'm gonna pretend that didn't happen. Yeah, I'm so sorry, dude. Thought I heard a bloodsucker scream. We got some... Oh, it's in the train tunnel. Your faves are chopped and washed. Yeah. I would simply acquire new faves. Sleep, wait till you find out that my VTuber lore is in Stalker. Wait. Ukritia. Is this where I think this is? Ah! It's underneath this fuck-ass complex. Huh? Boom! The rumble audio effect made me think I was having some sort of critical circulation event. Ooh. Sorry, homie. So here's the thing, Sleep. So I actually have been meaning to update my model. This PNG that I got in... Oh. Ooh, nice for a first pull. By the way, Sleep, I'll let you know right now. Wait, Dwap, when you say rumble, was the gameplay doing, like, the crackle thing again? Or did you mean, like, something else? But Sleep, I'll let you know right now. There is a singular downside to the artifact gacha. There is a 1 in 70 chance to die and lose everything. It's very funny to see it happen. In fact, Soroka procced it just on Sunday. But so here's the thing about my model, Sleep, is this patch is from a like my old PNG from 2022, which I basically rewrote my lore in 2023. Originally, I was... Oh, is that background burr kind of noise hit my ears and my headphones, and it was like, oh, I'm sorry, Dwap. But, fucking... Well, happy you were able to kind of, like, you know, like, taper that off, Dwap, then. Jesus, that would kind of suck, actually. But, Sleep. So, back in 2022, the original, like, writing of my character lore was that I was a mercenary, and then I quit and faked my death, because I didn't like being a mercenary because the mercenaries fucking suck. And I am in deep cover as a barmaid, and I basically work for duty because they, you know, they pay good. And and I have the duty patch on my chest because I'm not really a member of them, but I do a lot of jobs for them, and this is like a, you know, that's our girl Sasha, here's our patch or whatever. Then I rewrote my lore. Now, my present telling of my lore is that I was a mercenary, and then, I might have been pretty bad at my job. I tried to rescue a bunch of scientists we were supposed to escort, even though I was ordered not to. I got a squad mate killed, and it fucked me up really, really bad. I then proceeded to, in an attempt to prove myself later on, I ran to the north to chase a target that I was paid to contract, and then I proceeded to get trapped up there. An emission struck. I was then incapacitated and turned into a monolith agent. I was incapacitated and turned into a monolith sleeper agent, and given a new rank, like a new mission of killing mercenaries. So I was a merc, and then my myopic attempts at trying to be a team player or a hero ended up resulting in me getting brainwashed, and now I am programmed to kill mercenaries. That's how it was in 2023. So everyone's just like, oh, hey, dude, that's Sasha. She's, like, really good at, like, killing mercs, and she makes the zone real safe. But, they don't know that I've got my motives. They don't know that I've got my reasons. Here's what's different now. Oh, fuck! You know, that could have been scary if I didn't have a thing that could clear a whole clip on a bloodsucker and end him instantly. That could have been kind of spooky. Glad that wasn't the case. But, anyways, Pebble, better luck next time. But anyways, so that was the telling of the story in 2023. So I am no longer, like, working for duty. I am still working at the 100 Rads bar, but I am fully freelance. Barkeep lets me have room and board in the back because I do jobs for him as a barmaid. So, you know, I cook for people, I take their orders, I go around. I'm a pretty face in a nice dress that people like to tip. You know, naturally, I bring good attention around to the bar, I give people good service, and anytime somebody in the bar acts up and starts thinking that we know better, that they know better than us, and we tell them that they're cut off, I can go in there and I can cause some real fucking ruckus and get them to back down, or I can toss a motherfucker out of the bar if I want to. On top of that, I keep the space around the bar free of mercenaries, mutants, you have it, and if anybody in the bar does want to pay for my services, they can personally pay me, and I will go out and do whatever they want me to do, whether it's hunting an artifact, a mutant, or even a person. So I'm a full freelancer who most people don't know is secretly, I'm a full freelancer that most people don't know is fully brainwashed by the monolith to hunt mercenaries. But as far as most stalkers know, I am simply a pretty face around the bar in a nice dress that can serve and cook food real good, and I'm pretty good at doing freelance work if anybody ever pays me to do it. But that was before my update in 2025, where I proceeded to, well, I'm still actually working on the lore wiki in the Discord, but here's where it stands right now. Oh, thank you for the canteen sip, Pup Celeste. Here's where it stands right now. The United Nations, a very shady branch of the United Nations who may or may not have been paying the mercs in the first place, like who may or may not have been behind most of the mercs activities in the zone in the first place. A shady United Nations sector who prioritize studying and attempting to control the zone. They are no longer able to contract mercs anymore because I was killing too many of them. And they're very, very draconic, very, very morally corrupt, and also exceedingly gay director, Lucia Muller, has decided that all of the things I've been getting up to are now her business, and she has basically blackmailed me into being her, being one of her assets. She basically picked me up and said, hey, look, I know that you're a monolith agent, and if you don't work for me, I will simply tell everybody in the zone that you're a monolith agent, and I give you maybe 2 hours until somebody kills you. That was basically what it was. It was, I know that you're a monolith agent. I know that you are I know that all of your shit about trying to make the zone better is a crock of shit, and you are just absolutely a, poor brainwashed bitch with absolutely zero moral compass, that you will give up as soon as anybody just pays you enough money. And I also know that you are behind all of my efforts to try and make any headway on controlling the zone falling completely flat. You have personally sabotaged most of my efforts without even knowing it, and I'm fucking sick of it. Either you become an asset for me and you do work for me, and I promise I can maybe fix your brainwashing if you work for me. But if you don't, I'm telling everybody in the zone that you are that you're a monolith agent, and I give you until dawn before somebody puts their head on a pike. Also, my personal Spec Ops team will kill you, because after I killed so many of her mercs that they dropped out of the contract, and she had to go to the higher ups and the board of directors for the UN and say, "Can I pretty please have a dedicated task force for the zone?" And they finally reneged. The person who is blackmailing me also has a heavily armed and trained task force operating in the zone, and she also makes me, work with them sometimes, and they're not very fun. Especially their squad leader, who is a chain-smoking trans femme who hates my guts. So that's my present lore. The character is basically physically destitute as someone who's constantly around radiation anomalies would be. Yeah, Sascha Ferretto, the character, am exactly as, physically fit as somebody who is recovered from acute radiation sickness and also a really bad benzodiazepine addiction would be. Because that's half the reason I went to the zone. Is because I used to work security for, a corporation back in the homeland, and, I might have been really bad about, being responsible with my money, and I might have picked up a benzodiazepine habit as a means of managing the stress, and I might have gotten really fucked up, and I might have had to leave to the zone because I got fired, for, overdosing on the job. Don't worry about it. The cool thing about the lore rewrite with my character now being, held hostage by the UN, basically, is most of the characters that are prevalent in the lore are voice acted and appear on stream. My handler, Director Lucia Muller of the United Nations, she, basically is the person who you hear in basically all of, my stream bumpers and interludes. So you'll hear her in my stream interludes, you'll hear her in most of my, bits or subs, or follow, or no, most of my bits or follow alerts, and her task force's squad leader you will hear in most of my raid, follow, and ban alerts. Some other characters, like her administrative advisor, will actually appear for some of the other ones as well. I like to have a nice cast of characters, and I even have my friends appear as cameos sometimes. No, oh no, God no. No, you're good. No, I'm talking as the character, but yeah, it's fun. I've been having a really good time, getting to incorporate the lore into the stream and make it feel like the character is a part of the on-stream experience. So rather than just be oh, here's my lore and you only really get to know about it by reading about it or whenever I do a lore cinematic, instead it's no, here's the characters. You get to hear them on stream whenever I ban somebody or whenever chat interacts with the thing. They're kind of a major part, a major player in the on-stream experience that the chat gets to interact with. I think that's a lot of fun. Oh, fuck. Not again. Hold up. I'm trying to yap about my lore and you keep running up on me. And the more things change, the more they stay the same. It's immersive? Thank you! So yeah, whenever I do my, interludes between BRB and stream, or, stream and its end, or whenever I get followed, raided, or subbed to or anything, those voices you hear are characters. Fun fact is, if you go to my card in my About Me, you can click on or if you go down into my About Me on Twitch, you'll see a little link that says the cast. That brings you to a page on my card that runs you down on some of the characters in the story, and even has little voice samples of each of them reading a line, and you get to learn more about the characters. I put a lot into this. It's funny because originally Sascha was a character I didn't really see as having, like, as being a character I wanted to... Like, Sascha was a character I just kind of wanted to have in, like, a vacuum. I didn't really want her to, like, have a whole lot of meaningful, long-running friendships with anybody. It was like, okay, every, like, aspect of Sasha's lore is just her getting up to different misadventures, meeting people, and either they die or leave, and she ends up alone again every single time. And then, as things started to progress, now it's, no, I would like to have a long-running arc where she gets into a very toxic, codependent relationship with her handler, and then also at the very end of everything, she actually makes amends with her rival. They both decide to leave the zone together and marry and settle down in America. I have, like, a lot. I have a lot planned. And it's gotten to a point now where, like, these characters are, like, are like, sources of severe comfort for me. To the point where I think at one point I was, like, envisioning the idea of my character actually having a happy ending, and I kind of started crying. Because, like, I'd spent so long always, anytime somebody asked me, oh, like, how is your lore end? Always going, like, and just saying, oh, well, you know, a person's story in the zone can only end one way, you know? A very cowardly way of hinting that I plan to have Sascha die at some point. And then, eventually, it just turned into... Yeah, it literally was just like, well, I don't really want Sascha to be a character with, like, a long-running relationship or friendship with anybody. I'd rather her just kind of be alone. And then live alone and then die alone. Born alone, die alone. Accrue to, what is it? Keep my crown of thorn, I keep my sand alone. I'm trying to think of the fucking Nas bar. But anyway, the plan for Sascha originally was basically just born alone, die alone, and all of her arcs start and end with her kind of being just by herself and kind of having to interact with things in a vacuum. And most of the like, you know, dialogue and everything else is just primarily told through her inner monologue and her own musings on things, and told through, like, how she interfaces with the world around her. And then it was, okay, maybe I would like to see her end up kind of, you know, like, getting a little bit closer with, like, the character that ends up being her sort of, like, toxic savior. And then after that, after a certain point, when I was like, you know, I don't know, I think maybe I would like to see Sascha have a happy ending, because as a plural system, as part of a plural system, if I am half a fictive of a Sona that we created, if I put enough of myself into her and enough of her is put back into me, I think maybe it might be better for our soul to give her a happy ending. And thusly, that was why I kind of, well, you know, I was like, well, what if instead of letting her die alone, like, what if instead of just letting her die on her own in the fucking Chernobyl zone somewhere, and just be like, that's all, folks, Sasha's dead, you know, like, see y'all in another life or whatever. I was like, well, what if instead, like, I, like, plan out a life for her afterwards? What if instead her life after the zone is, you know, like, for example, the character that she basically has, like, a very, like, rivals to lovers relationship with, a character that, like, both of them hate each other's guts, and, like, Sasha's like, oh, you know, like, you're like a fucking, you know, like, lapdog for the United Nations, and you're like a fucking, like, you know, like, ex-CIA fuckhead, and I can't stand you because you just do whatever you're ordered to do. And this other character is like, oh, well, you know, you're just a fucking, like hypnotized fucking, you know, like, you're just, like, some, like, brainwashed, like, wild card with absolutely zero moral, fucking, like, boundaries or anything, and you'll just do whatever people pay you to do, and, you know, you're like a fucking psychopath or whatever. Both of these characters who absolutely hate each other's guts, what if instead the person who's been playing them both against each other by offering to be both of their toxic saviors, what if that person who's been playing them against each other kicks it? And what if they both realize that all they really have left is each other, so they fall into each other? Then they both end up kind of, like, realizing that they work better as a duo. What if they both at the end of the whole arc of everything kind of being resolved and finally handled, they're like, there's nothing really for us here in the zone. There's not really anything for us here. So why don't we just leave? And then driving home one day and thinking about how much it would make me smile to see my Sona, how much it would make me smile to see my Sona, 1, leaving the zone, 2, settling down and becoming a writer who just kind of like writes nonfiction about all of her like experiences in the zone. And then like her marrying somebody who used to be her rival, and her rival like settling down with her, her rival, you know, when she first came to the zone, they both end up settling down with each other, and her once rival, now partner, kind of like works as either like a private eye or a bartender, and both of them like actually learning to like enjoy life together on their own terms. Like, that was like a major thing for me. That was like a major thing for me. The commander that warned you when you entered the zone was right. There is nothing for you. Don't throw your life. Yeah, exactly. Like, it just... I think it's hard to really, like, unless you, like, have known me for a long time, it's hard to properly, like, contextualize the progress or, like, the all that is encompassed. Ooh, a Kolobok. Also, thank you for the compliments on that, Lux, earlier when you said that you love all this. That makes me very happy. But, like, it's hard to really overstate the importance to me personally of going from a person who, let's be honest, used to cowardly kind of like live out her ideation by putting it onto her character. We used to cowardly live out her ideation by just living it out through her character vicariously. Going from that to visualizing her character actually having her own, like leaving the zone and, like, actually being at peace with herself, settling down with a lover, and the both of them, like, healing from what they've been through and finding ways to, like, you know, love life again, you know? Like, I've spent so many fucking, like, days on, like, you know, like, just in my fucking, like, writing pad, just concepting ways that both of them kind of have, like, these nice little, like, these niceties that they kind of, like, learn to have again, after they spent so much time just having to kind of, like, live day to day in the zone and kind of be, like, at each other's throats all the time. Like, these little instances of, like, hey, hon, you want to get some coffee this morning? Sure, I'll put it on for you. How's the writing going? Oh, it's going pretty good, you know? How's work been going? Oh, this one person I've been having to put up with kind of sucks, but it is what it is, you know? And it's just like, I never thought that envisioning my Sona, the tough as nails stalker maid who regularly puts the screws to people for, like, inconveniencing her on a regular basis, would become a character where I am sitting and envisioning her, like, sitting down for coffee in the morning with her, like, partner, and, like, squeeing and happily smiling, going, oh, I can't wait. Are they a rival in the same faction or from different factions? Okay. So, Sascha is a loner who is being, forcibly contracted by the United Nations to, like, work as an undercover asset. Her rival is a person who is, like, officially like on the books with the United Nations and works with their task force. And her name is Esther Rains, and she's a trans femme ex-CIA hardass who is extremely mean to Sascha, and Sascha doesn't like her very much either. But they both go from rivals to actually being very close with each other. Esther's a lot of fun because she's voiced by one of my best friends. And her as a character, she went from being like a joke almost of like, what if what is it, Graves from Modern Warfare 2 was a fucking like trans femme, and then it was like, no, let's give her depth. Let's give her music taste. Let's give her like a whole thing where like she's very obviously somebody who like only really respects Muller because Muller pulled her out of a really shit situation, and thusly both of these characters are only really at each other's throats because they're being played against one another. But so that's kind of the thing, is that, like, Sascha is, like, made to play nice with this character, but, like, they're both technically, like, being employed by the same faction, but they're not both, like, they're not quite the same. There's that degree of separation that kind of fuels their anger at each other. Will there be a, well, I wasn't. Okay, no, you know what's really funny? You know what's really funny, Gaben? I'm dead ass because Iris, who voices Reigns, is a huge fucking joker. She is an absolute dork. For starters, we canonized that one of Reigns' favorite songs is Fever for the Flava by Hot Action Cop. Yes, there is also Yuri art of Reigns and Sasha. It exists, and I've posted on my main multiple times. I can't link it here, but there is Yuri. There is Yuri. Fucking, you say that, but genuinely, when Iris was recording a bunch of the voice lines that we use for like her on-screen alerts for Reigns, when Iris was recording some of the voice lines, dead ass at the very end of the vocal reel, she just included a bit of her in character going, "I wasn't in that helicopter. I wasn't in that helicopter." I'm just like, oh my god, Iris. In fact, actually, I think I have it. Give me a second. I can just play it. I can actually just play it. Give me a second here. If I join the Discord and play the, Here, actually, first, let me do the stretch and drink redeem. Thank you for the stretch and drink redeems, though. I appreciate it. There is Yuri. Look, I'm gonna keep it 100. You can thank Yuri for the reason that I actually wanted my lore to go places, because otherwise I had no fucking clue what to do with it. Yuri was how I was like, wait, what if my character actually got to have a nice, like, ending? Like, don't get me wrong, she has to work hard for it, and she has to go through hell for it. Because, like, Sasha the character does end up, like, being in a very bad, like, kind of, like, power dynamic relationship with a superior, and then when that superior dies, it fucks her up really badly, and that's why she has to fall into her rival for support, because she basically doesn't view herself as having any worth anymore. But, she does get better, and she does learn to actually live for herself again. She gets a nice ending, but she does have to work for it. But Yuri is how I got to that point where I was like, well, what if I actually, like, start adding more characters? What if I add a United Nations director who's, like, extremely morally corrupt, who has had a really, really rough upbringing, and thusly believes that mankind cannot be trusted to steer itself into a promising future, and the only way that all of mankind's vices can ever truly be repaired is if somebody takes the reins personally. And thusly, her goal is, yeah, I can actually do what the group wanted to do with the Seacon, but I'm going to do it right this time. What if instead I wrote a bodyguard type character who starts off as a faceless goon and then ends up becoming a character that has a very nice kind of, like, ends up being a really good foil to my Sona and ends up becoming, like, a rival to lover scenario, and she's a fan favorite, and people love her design, and people love her voice and everything about her, and they love to hate her. What if I added a, is it the actual Stalker stuff? Not exactly. Wait, well, what do you mean by that, Gabe, as a question, because I'm not sure what you're referring to. Mankind knew they could not change society. What if I added, like, an administrative advisor or Director Muller, who's like a complete fucking fail guy and nobody respects him because he's that guy at your job who's like, why am I the only one doing my job here kind of guy? What if I, you know, like, what if I did that, you know? Dude, bloodsuckers love ambushing me when I'm info dumping about my character. Pisses me the fuck off. Is it an actual Stalker-driven story with the correct vision? I mean, yeah, because, like, the character is in the zone, and most of the factions and things are just kind of my own spins on existing factions. It is the people that fear the future and want to control something they can't. Well, considering that this is, like, some, like, really, like, corrupt leader of the United Nations. This isn't like the actual group. Oh, you're talking about the themes. You're talking about the themes of Stalker. I think that's the word you're looking for, is like the themes. And the answer is yes. A big part of it is that Director Muller is a control freak by nature. She is a person who literally feels like she is completely like, who feels like extremely out of her depth if she is not in control of everything around her. Thusly, she tries really hard to always have an upper hand on everything, and a big part of the storyline that I want to tell here is all about how, much like in the original Shadow of Chernobyl, trying to control things you aren't meant to control is never going to go the way you plan. Trying to take fate into your own hands by any means necessary never gets you the result that you want. Thusly, Sascha as a character represents agency, represents trying to take back everything, like trying to take back yourself and be free of things. Sascha represents the zone because she's literally like marked by it. She is the zone as its wild, free, going with the flow thing, and much of that also like folds back into the whole thing of like the zone as a place. I actually have like a whole sequence where a character describes it as like the zone, life in the zone, like survival in the zone is complicated because of how dangerous it is, but life in the zone itself is relatively simple compared to living in any modern capitalist society. And then Sascha says something along the lines of, how can something be simple if its components are complicated? To which she is told, well, you can draw a sundial in the ground and you can read a sundial, but you can't build a pocket watch, can you? The zone is kind of like a clock, where the more you kind of try and like change how it works, the more confusing it gets, and thusly you can end up being caught up in its gears. But if you simply march to the beat of its rhythm, you might be able to find a way to live in harmony with it. And all of that is represented by the character of Sascha being this kind of like person who's like, you know, the zone is for the stalkers, the zone is for freedom, the zone is for personal freedom, the zone is for trying to find a new version of yourself in the chaos and nothingness that lies within. Sascha represents the zone being about personal freedom and trying your best to find something new within it. Muller represents absolute control and all of the pitfalls that come with it. She tries to control Sascha and it doesn't go very well. She tries to control the zone and it doesn't go very well. These are all important themes. But anyway, the zone is for freedom. Things that get rifles pointed at you in duty spaces. Okay, also, I said I was going to play this soundbite for you, and thusly, I shall do so. Give me a second here. Let me open up my Discord. So, okay, Gabe'em, you wanted to hear the, I wasn't in that tank? I got the Reigns equivalent.
I wasn't in that helicopter.
He also, sent me these two in character. She sent me these two in character, don't ask.
You gotta give him that hawk too, spin on that thing. Fine. I guess you are my little pog champ. Come here.
I want you to know she did these unprompted. Just, like, sent these to me. And I was like, why? Why would you do this? I mean, granted, it was funny. Hey, you cool dudes and cold-blooded comrades. Fucking freedom. Did she make a mod for Ready or Not? Nope. Nobody in my circle is affiliated with Ready or Not. You are not recognizing that voice. That is not who you think it is. Nobody in my circle does anything with Ready or Not because Ready or Not is propaganda. I actually have I have torn my friends a new asshole for playing Ready or Not and rating me on it. So just a heads up, this is a heavily ACAB space and we do not fuck with Ready or Not here. Maybe it's the radio effect. Oh yeah, no, I just like use the I use the Motorola Nextel chirp, like a Nextel Motorola chirp on it. And then I just use like a phone effect. Check out the Face Full of Eyes video for more context. The Face Full of Eyes video is... I love Face Full of Eyes so much. I love Face Full of Eyes. Face Full of Eyes' video on SWAT 4 and Far Cry 2 are both really, really good. That must be it. Yeah, it's just like the effect I put on it. 'Cause she just like sometimes just sends me shit in character. Those radio voice filters, you grew up on Ace Combat. Yeah, it'll do it. SWAT 4 is easier to excuse than Ready or Not, mostly because of the design philosophy they were both built under. One was made by the people who made BioShock and System Shock 2, and it's basically just an sim that happens to have like SWAT sim elements in it, and it was made in the early 2000s. The other is like a tactical shooter made during the Thin Blue Line era. Ah, that'll do it, Merc. But yeah, no, Iris does a really good job playing the character. Sometimes when I get raided, she'll call a fucking airstrike on me. She's really, really fun to hang out with. We actually did a stream recently of both me and Iris in character, like as Sasha and Reigns playing a tactical shooter and doing a couple of ops together. It was genuinely really fun. I had a blast. Because the thing is that, like, me and Iris as friends are, like, we kind of just have the same dynamic that Reigns and Sasha have. Like, we're both people who know we kind of gotta, like, stick together, but we also like ripping on each other nonstop because it's fun. So, like, we just have that kind of dynamic naturally. Like, I call her my best op for a reason. SWAT 4 goes hard. SWAT 3 went gold before 9/11, so... That's true! That's true! Kelly told me something about that. Kelly didn't know what actual was, so they went with it. What a thrill. Oh! Ah, here comes Gravy with the Hydretch. It's actually really funny, Gravy. I was telling my chat today that, like, chat's been kind of slacking on the Hydretch, so I actually have one of my timers from Director Muller reminding people to tell me to do that. Command and Conquer generals pretty much predicted the war in Iraq. I believe it. It's fucking weird how stuff like that is, you know? Well, we got all the stashes here in the Red Forest. And I appreciate you for it, Gravy. Gravy, do me a favor. Hit that artifact redeem while you're here, actually. I want to see what you pull on the gacha. Have you seen the gacha, Gravy? I'm not sure if you see it in the gacha. You should take a pull on the gacha. SWAT 3 is full of weird political threads. Yeah, SWAT 3 was like... Wasn't SWAT 4 was the only one actually... Not a bad starter. SWAT 4, I think, was the only one made in collaboration with Irrational, right? Because, like, SWAT 4 has, like, really good environmental storytelling, and I still think a lot about the Fairfax House. The funny thing about that game is it is a satire of the political scenario in that time, and they did such a good job that it's a very accurate scenario and also American propaganda. That is not a literal eyeball. I would not recommend putting it in your mouth if you can help it. Ace Combat Joint Assault predicted... Well, I mean, you can say that, but also so did Cruelty Squad. Fairfax House was horrifying. I also think a lot about the Children of Tyrone tenement. Like, SWAT 4 being, like, Children of Tyrone tenement and Fairfax House are moments where you can tell that the guys that worked on System Shock 2 made that game. Like, dude, Children of Tyrone was fucked. even just when I, like, it's very funny that, like, SWAT 4 effortlessly does what Ready or Not tries way too fucking hard to do. Ready or Not tries so hard to be like, oh, dude, this is like a fucked up nightmare world you're in, and you're the only one who can fix it. But then it's like, you play like SWAT 4, and like, these scenarios are played much better and much more respectfully. Especially if, like, dude, I feel like we can all agree on, like, if Fairfax House was a level in Ready or Not, you can imagine what it would be like, and it would be fucking awful. It would be so overblown. You'd see, like flayed skeletons, or, like, dead bodies, or, like, the fucking couches would all be covered in human skin, and it would be, like, so fucking gratuitous. But meanwhile, like, Fairfax House and SWAT 4 as a mission is, like, it's like 5 minutes long. Like, it's bite-sized, it's well, yeah, it's the subtlety. It's that they understand how to respectfully do a scenario like that. Like a serial killer, here's an apartment building with a bunch of booby traps and cultists, and, like, you'd have, like, a shit, like, oh my god, dude. Ready or Not going all in on, like, the sex trafficking thing is like, okay, here's the thing. Yes, sex trafficking is a really, really bad fucking problem. I actually recently read a post that was about something I never really noticed before, which is that a big aspect of, like, as soon as a lot of, like, post-communist countries in, like, the Eastern Bloc started going capitalist and everything fell the fuck apart economically, a lot of people turned to sex work as a means of trying to feed their families, and those people ended up being picked up by Western pornographers and sex traffickers. A lot of Epstein's early victims were all people in the Eastern Bloc that Western pornographers just, like, were like, oh, here's, like, easy pickings I can go to. Like, yeah, sex trafficking is a horrible problem. You know who's really playing a big part of that? Cops and the soldiers of capital. So it's like, here's your game about how you gotta stop all of the horrible, awful sex traffickers, but you're playing as one of, like, the biggest perpetuators of modern sex trafficking. Like, how can you make a game with so little fucking understanding of historical context? It's kind of ridiculous, because it's like, oh, dude, is okay. On top of that, because I've talked about this with Angel before. On top of that, outside of the very obvious propaganda, outside of the playing as, like, you know, the basic, like, you know, like capitalist Gestapo who are regularly known for gunning down innocent brown people all the fucking time because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Outside of that. Outside of the fact that the game goes all in on an anti-sex trafficking thing when you play as a organization that are notoriously notoriously established as being, like, pretty, like, buddy with sex traffickers, and doing their jobs for them. On top of that, there's also the fact that Ready or Not, for its nightclub level, one, bases it around the Pulse nightclub, which is a historical mass shooting where a ton of, like, it was a gay nightclub that was shot up by a homophobic shooter, and the game adapts it to, the game basically adapts the Pulse nightclub, and obviously doesn't actually, like, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't adapt a mass hate crime, historical and recent, like, less than a decade ago. On top of that, a lot of the in-level environmental details were taken from photographic reference of the Bataclan nightclub shooting. Why the fuck would you make a game and use photographic references from one of the biggest and most horrific terrorism attacks in history? What the fuck is wrong with you, Void Point? Are you fucking stupid? Yeah, I'm gonna use the Bataclan Theater as the basis for my video game level. Dude, Okay, look, I'm one of those people where I'm like, man, I am okay with problematic media. I regularly read Yuri fiction that includes people doing things that people go to jail for life for. I'm fine with it. But I don't think we should make video games where you play... I don't think we should make video games where you play as America's Gestapo and you're going through a level that is literally based upon both the Pulse nightclub shooting and the Bataclan theater attacks. That is or the fact that there's like an entire like school shooting level called Elephant, and like it was like, I remember, because okay, I'm gonna keep it 100. I owned Ready or Not for a time. My radicalization took a while. I was fairly like enlightened centrist, teetering on right wing until 2020, when the George Floyd protests happened, and I saw just how bad the NYPD was. I am not proud that it wasn't until I was 22 years old and watching NYPD cruisers literally bowl over crowds of protesters that I finally got with the program. But I got with the program. A lot of people haven't yet. I'm not proud that I was playing Ready or Not in 2022. I'm not proud that it took a friend of mine that I very heavily respect coming up to me and saying, hey, I don't feel comfortable with you playing this in the call with me. But I listened, and I put the game down. I haven't played it since, and whenever I see people around me playing it, I step to them and I say, what the fuck are you doing playing this in 2026? Okay? But when I did play it, I remember trying the active shooter scenario, and I remember going through like a hotel lobby and just seeing like people bleeding out all around me and hearing distant gunshots and screams. And after about 30 seconds of that, I closed the game and I said, I don't think we should be making video games about this. I don't think we should be doing this. Ready or Not is it the video game, Spooky. I got rated out by a friend of mine who I respected pretty heavily, who, like, I literally was at his re-debut. I was on his show for an hour-long interview about Stalker. He let me yap about this game for an hour. And he rated me with his podcast after playing Ready or Not, and I personally stepped to him and I said, just under like 2 months after Alex Pretty and Renee Good got murdered, after Breonna Taylor has never gotten justice, after all of these things, like, why are you streaming this? I was like, it's not that I'm mad that you rated me, it's that I'm mad that you're like, you gotta get with the program, dude. And granted, he did listen, which I appreciated. He did listen, and he took it on the chin, but it was just like I cut a person off who was one of like my longest running community members. I cut a person off because she was running a collab of Ready or Not with a person who was like making light of the genocide in Gaza. Like, I don't take this shit lightly. The hate crew is an accountability first culture. A lot of like it might not seem like a nice place to be, but it's like this so it's safe. Otherwise, you end up with people doing shit like this. Ready or Not is an absolutely awful game made by people who have, like, zero understanding of the level of respect that must be had for victims of horrific mass tragedies. Ready or Not is probably one of the worst games for the modern, like socio-political zeitgeist I can think of. Like, has it done as much damage as games like COD? Probably not. Probably not, because unlike COD, Ready or Not is technically not state-sanctioned propaganda. Because COD has been funded by the DoD as far back as 2010. Let's not beat around the bush here. Yeah, no, Ready or Not's fucking rancid, dude. Bob said in their attempts to wash their school shooting level ended up making it politically confusing and not representative of what those events are. What is it? For those who can are you kidding me? They added Gen AI into it too? Oh my god, dude, they're fucking... Dude, that's fucking rank. Dude, that's fucking rank. Look, here's the thing, okay? Wait, I saw you mention Postal. Here's why I think Postal is a lot easier to go to bat for than a game like Ready or Not. The original Postal is very different. Postal 1 as a game was made by a team that were used to making kid-friendly shovelware schlock for a fucking company that had them under their thumb. And as soon as Running with Scissors got to be free and make their own game, okay. Postal 1 was basically Ready or Not's equivalent of when you, like, quit your job and you proceed to throw your briefcase of all of your stuff from your office off a bridge. Or, like, you do something really reckless and stupid just to celebrate being free again. Postal 1 is a game that is designed to be edgy and insane because it is a team basically just, like, going all in on that as a means of catharsis because they've had to choke down all of the frustrations of working basically as a shovelware contractor for years. On top of that, Postal was made in a very different time frame. A lot of people don't realize it, but Postal 1 came out in 1997. The very end level of Postal, being an elementary school, was designed that way for shock value, because they believed that to be a thing that was so outlandishly horrible that it was, like, unthinkable to happen. Then, 2 years after they published the game, it happened. And then it began to happen, and happen, and happen, and happen. Postal 1 was made before the thing that it was about became a thing that was so regularly institutionalized that kids started having to have their own special drills for what to do about it if it happens near them. Postal 1 was made before that. It was primarily made as a form of, like, catharsis through just extreme edginess. On top of that, one, the enemies in Postal you are only supposed to actually attack combatants. Thirdly, Postal 1 is designed as surprisingly a kind of very real or like very haunting depiction of a person with an extreme paranoid disorder. Postal 1's protagonist is a person who believes himself to be the only sane and healthy man alive in a town that is afflicted with what he calls a hate plague, where he thinks that everybody around him is a victim of some type of George Romero's The Crazy style, like, chemical, like, agent that has turned them all into psychopaths. And he's just trying to defend himself, not engaging in some type of war. Everything about Postal is, like, most of what people think Postal 1 is what Hatred actually wants to do. Which is why I can't stand Hatred. Hatred is 1, boring, 2, awful and edgy and garbage. Postal is messed up, but at least it's self-aware, and so it's still, yeah, and then Postal itself is named after the postal workers and going, yeah, exactly. Postal 1 is designed to be unsettling, yes. It's designed to be edgy, yes. But it at least does it with some degree of nuance, and I still think the time era that a thing is made in is a big contributor to how I feel about it. Which is why it is easier for me to give SWAT 4 a pass than Ready or Not. Because SWAT 4 wasn't made during the fucking Thin Blue Line movement. Postal 1 is an example of, like, yeah, like Postal 1 is easier to, like, bat for because most of what happens in it was people creating, like, a form of, like, insane, terrifying satire. Like, I put Postal 1 on the same level as They Shoot Horses, Don't They? Postal 2, meanwhile, is completely off the walls, insane, and designed to be silly and stupid. Postal 1 is a game that is a shockingly terrifying depiction of a person with a paranoid disorder going on a rampage because they genuinely think they have to protect themselves. And it paints a stark image of somebody whose mind is no longer their friend. Postal 2 is a game where you can smoke crack and piss on Gary Coleman. Postal 2 is designed to be stupid. I don't think Postal 2 needs defending because everything in that game is absolutely ridiculous and dumb, and there's absolutely nothing in it that is meant to be taken at face value. It is designed to be easily taken as offensive by people who just want to, like, use their offense as lip service. Postal 2 is a game where you smoke crack, piss on Gary Coleman, and launch nukes at the Waco, Texas siege. It's stupid. You get put in a gimp suit by hillbillies while trying to get a Christmas tree for your fat wife in a fucking trailer park. Postal 2 is stupid. Looks you in the face and spits in your face. Positive. Yeah. Very nice of Mal to rejoin when I'm talking about smoking crack and pissing on Gary Coleman. Welcome back, Mal. Also, yeah, we don't talk about Postal 3. Postal 2 is a middle finger to Joel Lieberman. Yeah, which is why there's an entire in-game difficulty mode called Lieber mode. That gives everybody guns. You should have seen Evie's face! I was also going on a giant diatribe about how the game Ready or Not is complete fucking garbage, and anybody who plays it I immediately have a lower opinion of. For a lot of great reasons. Because we're an ACAB house here. But yeah, no, Postal 2 is ridiculous, but it's designed to be ridiculous and stupid and dumb. Postal 3 is ridiculous and stupid and dumb also, but for less fun reasons, because Postal 3 was shopped out to a Russian developer. Ooh, nice flaw. For those who don't know, Postal 3 was mostly developed by a Russian developer called, I think, Akela, who, among other things, happened to be the people that developed a expansion for Postal 2 called Corkscrew Rules. Here's what I describe it as. Corkscrew Rules is a game that makes Postal 2 look like high art. And if that doesn't scare you, it should. It's, Postal 2 Corkscrew Rules. Okay. Postal 2, I think, is a game that I think is, like, is fine because it's designed to be completely stupid and it has no values it stands behind. Corkscrew Rules is not. Corkscrew Rules is actually genuinely fucking awful. I cannot defend it. It is ridiculous. It is like ridiculous in the worst possible ways. It is not a game you should under any circumstances play. I have not played Postal 4 and I don't really plan on playing Postal 4. I'm good. I am just going to continue to play Postal 2. Postal 4 doesn't have Gary Coleman in it. Let's be real. Sasha, is Gary Coleman's presence really that big of a make or break for you? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I can't believe that one of the last, like, major, like appearances of Gary Coleman in any piece of media with his real blessing and his real likeness that they took from him is Postal 4. I mean, Postal 2. Hey, he's Gary Coleman from TV's Different Strokes. He made a lot of money that got stolen by his folks. Now he's the butt of everyone's jokes. The rare Avenue Q reference from Sasha. That's how you know it's a silly night. Will you pick up the Postal 2 remake? I don't know. Without the Unreal 2 jank, I don't know if it's gonna hit the same. You're not a promoter for running with scissors. No, it's okay. I'd know if you were because you'd probably start, I know if you were a promoter for running with scissors because your name would be Marfinimus Blockimus. Ho! Postal 2's expansion pack, reusing their assets. Right. Maybe one day I'll stream Postal 2. I had a fun bit with the friends the other day where I talked about, like, how, like, it's very funny that I actually still haven't really played, like, the original Duke 3D. Like, the first, like, Duke 3D thing I played was Duke Caribbean Life's a Beach. And I thought about how funny it would be to just never actually play Duke 3D. Like, I play, like, all of its expansions or something, but I will never actually play Duke 3D. Not for any reason other than just because it would be really petty and funny to never let anybody see me stream it. But then I was like, okay, well, if I was already planning on making 80 play Brigand Oaxaca, what if instead, if, like, I ever decide to play Duke 3D, I just completely leave the front and make, like, the body with nobody fronting play it? So that it's like, technically nobody in this system is actually playing Duke 3D. So it's like, Sasha, you played it last week. No, I didn't. Your first Duke was Forever. My first Duke was also Forever. And you know what? I got no shame in saying that 13-year-old me thought that Duke Nukem Forever was the dopest shit ever. That's fine. That's okay. I got no shame. I don't care. I'll stand by that. My tastes at 13 are very different from my tastes at 14. I mean, well, okay, that too. But my tastes at 13 are very different from my tastes at 29. For starters, I used to listen to a lot of new metal and screamo, but okay, well, I used to play a lot of first-person shooters, but okay, well, I used to watch a lot of horror YouTubers. Okay, this shit isn't going anywhere. This shit isn't going anywhere. Also, hi, Evie. I meant to say hi earlier. All that comes to mind is letting the vessel play, but V takes this. Yeah, no. I feel like, because here's the thing, is half the reason V came in is because V was like, Sasha, you keep like leaving and like either making like somebody else take over. Very funny to say hi to Evie after doing psychic damage. That's my modus operandi. What I do. It's just what I do. Because, like, yeah, V was like, okay, Sashi, like, okay, so for those who don't know, we have a few newer people in here, but I'm a plural system. And a thing that happens is that I have occasionally left the front wholesale, and that either forces other headmates to the front. One time, Amber was forced to the front, and she did not have a good time. Sometimes 80 or V gets forced to the front. Sometimes 80 or V gets forced to the front. But also sometimes nobody is fronting, and it is just like the vessel on autopilot. Our friend Angel has taken to charitably referring to it as, quote, ghost riding the whip. Letting, like, just the body be on autopilot has been referred to by Angel as ghost riding the whip. Ah, better luck next time, Runo. 13-year-old me playing Duke Nukem Forever. I need to go lay down after hearing that. Look, my friend Robert used to play a lot of games he wasn't supposed to be playing, mostly because his dad didn't really give a shit about anything, and I would just come over to his house and play it. Look, alright? My homie Robert was responsible for getting me into a lot of music that was crucial to who I am today. Robert's fucking yard sales was how I picked up Korn's self-titled when I was in 8th grade. His yard sales was how I got into System of a Down. And how I got into Biohazard and shit like that. Like, me being into shit tons of, like, hip-hop and hardcore punk and nu metal is mostly either from my woodshop teacher in 8th grade, like, subjecting me to shit tons of Quicksand and Helmet and Orange 9mm, and going to my friend Robert's yard sales and picking up fucking, like, Korn and System of a Down and, like, Biohazard CDs on the reg. Like, he was what got me into he was also what got me into Hollywood Undead at 13. So yes, 13-year-old me, or I think it was either like, no, it was like 14 at that age, 14-year-old me was going around singing along to Everywhere I Go by Hollywood Undead, and if that doesn't terrify you, it should. Sometimes I will put on Everywhere I Go in the car, and Nyx is like, stop, why are you doing this to me? And I'm like, come on, hon, sing it with me. Wake up, grab beer, grab rear, shave beer, put on some scene gear. Oh, Nyx is right, I'm rotten. I'm fucking rotten to the core. I think your first game more mature than Banjo-Kazooie because my friend, your shady friend stole a copy of Vice City. That's fair. They reference Everywhere I Go in their newest album. I haven't listened to Hollywood Undead in over a decade because the last album I listened to was American Tragedy. I used to go to, like, the bay near my house and just listen to the song Bullet and get sad about stuff. Now instead, I like to go for long night drives while listening to I Really Want to Stay at Your House and get sad about stuff. I've changed little. I've changed little. But it's really funny they've gotten progressive. Okay, so here's why they got less shitty. Because they got rid of Deuce, who, okay, while I do like a lot of songs with him, Deuce was a Scientologist. They never talked about this, but Deuce was a Scientologist. And when I think it was, who was their new singer? Was it Danny or something else? He's really chill. A big part of why I like their newer vocalist is because, okay, I am a big fan of the band Let Live. If we have anybody in chat who has not listened to Let Live, go listen to Let Live. If any of you have heard of a band called, I think, Fever 333, their vocalist Jason Allen, the band he used to be in was Let Live. They were a very, very, like, socio-politically, like, conscious post-hardcore band. A lot of their music was very much about elements of the Black experience, elements of being raised in bad homes, elements of what American capitalism does to people who can't afford to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Their 2011 album, Fake History, is one of my favorite post-hardcore records of all time. Let Live are incredible, but I am a very, very big fan of any band where the vocal inflections hit that kind of like Let Live / Coheed and Cambria kind of intonation. Hollywood Undead's vocalist they got after kicking out Deuce, I think it was Danny, his vocals can get very close to Jason Allen or Claudio Sanchez, and that makes me very happy. I love vocals like that. I love post-hardcore vocals that get a little bit close to like the R&B and soul kind of inflections that Jason Allen and Claudio Sanchez get into. And that's why I actually really, as much as I used to bump Swan songs all the time and constantly listen to songs like fucking Black Dahlia or Young all the time, American Tragedy hit me way better just because Danny's vocals were way, way better to me. I really like his inflections and his vocal style. Not for nothing, but also Johnny Three Tears having like a lot like more of like a more like personal approach on the album helps. There are a lot of songs on American Tragedy I really like. Like, they still have a lot of really trashy tracks, like Coming In Hot or whatever, but, like, they started being more creative on American Tragedy in ways that I really liked. I was a big fan of Lump Your Head. I was a big fan of, Bullet. I was a big fan of, just everything. Big on all that kind of stuff. God. Now y'all got me fucking talking about music again. Welcome to the Stalker Tuesday stream, where at any given moment you will tune in and just hear me talking a fuck ton about music, considering I was yapping about counterparts for like 10 minutes, like at the start. Anyways, I have a request. We have an ad hitting in 5 minutes. I have a canteen sip now and a stretch from somebody else. I'm going to get up and take a break. I'll be back in a couple of minutes, alright? I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Because, unfortunately, you know, it's that time.
I'd buy that for $1.
What?
You may be only a hired gun, but you need maintenance like any other. Let Warden take point, Bloodhound.
Yeah, why don't you take this?
Yeah. Yeah. You know? You ever just, you know what I'm saying? At any rate, hi, I'm back. Oh my god. Oh, the thing happened again. The thing happened again where I got up, and then I'm like, ooh, my voice. My voice is not great. Anyway.
I'm not done with you yet.
Of course
Check
not.
your ammo and catch up with Rains. We'll be watching.
Always fucking catch up with Rains this, catch up with Rains that. How about you fucking catch
Catch up with this. Sorry, did I say that out loud? Well, I got at least like another half hour left in me. I got, what is it, I think it's a 9 to 3 tomorrow. So, ooh, I'm liking this jazz tune we got on. Okay, I do have a sniper rifle suppressor for that. I'm running low on funds. I should start selling some of my artifacts, I think. Okay, radio protection, school protection, radio protection. I'm gonna sell some shit for starters. I'm gonna disarm, sell some shit real quick. Ah, Rat King. Better luck next time. You know, every time I look over at the graphics that I did for those, because like obviously they're just like PNGs, the Stalker 2 artifacts, but like every time I look over at like the typography that I did for them, I'm just proud. I'm just fucking proud. I cooked hard on that. I cooked hard on the fucking artifact gotcha, because like the like common, uncommon, rare, and like super rare text, especially with like the legendaries all having like the rainbow sheen on them that like your fucking SSRs and gotchas have, like, oh, you know, I cooked. I'm not gonna like fucking stand up here on the podium and not fucking gas up the work that I did, you know? Real shit. I cooked and I ain't afraid to show it. Do I already have a high cap AS Valmag? I don't! I actually don't have a high cap AS Valmag. Okay. Huh. I guess I did find at least one new thing out there. Alright. I'll experiment with that in a sec. Aw, thank you, Pup Celeste. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Okay, so I guess you're my fucking DM artifactor. Put you away. I don't need 2 sniper rifle suppressors. But I'm definitely gonna sell some of these mutant parts while I'm here. Am I really gonna need 8 RPG warheads? Yes. Yes, I am. And I intend to keep them. And we also have a whole SVD that I'm probably not gonna use. Yeah, I was talking about it in the Discord earlier today, but that gotcha was like 8 straight hours of sitting in like the VC and working on it, from like programming the actual like artifacts, like downloading all of the PNGs, porting them into Mix-It-Up as like a currency system. Like, I want to make it clear, if Mix-It-Up did not have a built-in like backend for a system like this, if Mix-It-Up did not have an entire like built-in system for currencies and items, this would not be a thing I would have bothered with, because if it didn't have like the framework for me to basically just pop the artifacts into and just like make entries for all of them, if it didn't already have a system of you can have like a built-in system for items and like currencies and shit, and all I had to do was just make entries for all of the artifacts and then a command to pull one at random. It didn't have the back end, the framework to do all of that, I wouldn't have even bothered, because all of the work was still from just downloading all the PNGs and adding each artifact into it. And like also adding like all of the on-screen animations and commands and the typography and shit. It was like almost like a full 8 hours of nothing but work for that. And oh, I am so happy that Mix It Up is as versatile as it is. Alright. I am no longer as broke as I was, but I am still very broke. I gotta do something about that. I gotta do something. Let's take a look at some of these artifacts, because I do not need all of these. Oh, right. Since I have a extended AS Val magazine, I have an idea. I want to get crafty. Ah, you can take a stendo clip. You can take a stendo clip. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be going into like the I'm gonna be going into some other areas for some more stashes for the late night run. I'm gonna keep you on hand, but I do want to sell some of these artifacts because I really don't need these many. Because unfortunately I did not pull back enough loot. It took me hours to get like contextual pronoun support working, and most of the task was done with pre-existing calls to the site that handles it anyway. Yeah, like it's hard to really overstate how much work goes into cooking shit for a stream. I was having a talk today with my Discord about like how I want to incentivize people hitting me with the like self-care redeems more. And granted, I appreciated everybody being more diligent about them today. You're doing great. But, like, a lot of people don't realize a big part of being a streamer is you're constantly kind of, like, teetering on a line. And that line is, I want to let my streams feel really interactive and engaging for my chatters, but I also respect their intelligence and don't want to have all of my streams basically just be the equivalent of me jangling keys in front of them. I could have voice lines and animations for all my self-care redeems to incentivize people clicking on them, but I also want my chat to feel like they have, like, they should want to click on the self-care redeems and make sure I'm taking care of myself for reasons other than me jangling keys in front of them saying, hey, look at this, don't you want to hit the thing? Like, it is a constant conflict of interest between trying to make your stuff engaging and also trying to keep it from becoming like a nightmare escape of way too many things on screen. That was why, even after I got welcomed into the VTuber community in early 2022, I staunchly refused to become a VTuber for a little bit. I said, I don't want to be a VTuber. I don't want to take the focus away from the game. I just want it to be the game and maybe the chat, and that's all. I don't want it to be anything else. And granted, all of my homies respected that. And then after a certain point, I said, okay, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to actually have a character. And then lo and behold, you know, here I am, and I can't really imagine being a streamer and not being Sascha. Like, she's as much me as I am her. Ain't it funny how it happens? But, like, I refuse to have a chat overlay for, like, over the first year of myself being on stream. I just staunchly refused to have a chat overlay. I didn't want to do it. I just wanted to stay completely fucking, like, basic and simple, and I didn't want to bother with any of the fancy shit. And then that changed. Okay, so we got an AS Val. What am I gonna use for, like, my long range? I guess you still have decent range, so maybe I can just keep it to a single gun. Fuck it, let's specialize here. I should buy more armor-piercing pistol ammo at some point. I need more of it. It says if, like, if I already knew what I was doing, it would have taken probably half an hour. Yeah. That's just how it is. That's just how it is on this bitch of an earth, you know? Okay. Oh, but wait, if I'm not going to be packing a shoddy... If I'm not going to be packing a shoddy, that presents a problem. Do I still take the Saiga? This is how we get good at it. No, exactly. Like, I still need to hit my man Tag up, because I've been doing all of my model lighting with, like, source clones and, like, blur filters and shit. And apparently I don't need to do that if I'm using VTube Studio. So I'm gonna have to hit him up and be like, alright, my man, show me the new ways, show me how it's done now, fill me in on this type shit. So I gotta hit Tag up about that. In fact, actually, let me send him the DM now. And I gives a fuck if he's streaming. Oh. Silent. Yeah, here we go. Let me just send Tag a message real quick. I had a really good time on Tag's re-debut stream when he fucking came back, and he actually had me and Angel on, and both of us just talked about, like, our merch collabs and our philosophy. Tag's a real motherfucker. We love that guy. That should be enough. Alright. Show me how to do it the correct way, even if my shit's working now. No, exactly. Like, I remember, like, obviously, a lot of my, like, my zooms require nested scenes. Because the first person that I knew of who was doing, like, the cool little zooms like this was Cell. But Cell was doing it apparently in a really, really hackneyed way, because she didn't know about, like, nested scenes. She cracked it open, and I didn't really know how to read OBS like that before, because, like, before I became a VTuber, I was still using slobs. And then when I became a VTuber, I started using regular OBS, and then I started building all of my shit from the ground up, making my first overlay and everything else. I still need to have a sit down with Angel where both of us just workshop some new overlays. That'll be fun. But to say nothing of it, yeah, like Cell was apparently doing it in a very hackneyed way, but, you know, it is what it is. But as soon as she learned about nested scenes, then I was like, okay, so, like, you know, it's always good to, like, do stuff in, like, a slightly more roundabout way, because that's how you know, and then you can learn that you can be doing it another way, you know? I'd be happy to learn that I'm doing the model lighting wrong, but I kind of can't really do it anyway, because, like, I'm going to be doing a lot of streams where I can't use my model and I have to use my PNG. I will be damned if I'm going to be playing Stalker 2 with my full Live 2D model, because that shit is going to run my shit hot. It's going to get hot, and I'm not trying to do that. Sorry about having to start on slobs. Yeah, it's alright, dog. Slobs is slobs. I used it. I use it so I don't have to anymore. It's not like you're hot. Thank you, Amy. That's a very Amy thing to say. Look, it wasn't very hard to switch off of slobs. It was very basic. It took me maybe like 5 minutes to port all of my shit over, because I remember to keep a folder of it. So, you know, that naturally helped. Where do I want to go now? Let's go to the bar and head on down to Agriprim, actually. Hey, Sleepy, if you're still here, do you want to, Spooky Sleep, if you're still here, do you want to see what happened to Rostock? It's very funny, looking back on how my redeems used to be, like my old alerts, because all of my alerts used to just be Stalker PDA noises, with like a Stalker PDA thing, and it would say so-and-so bandit subbed this much, or so-and-so Stalker followed, or whatever. It was extraordinarily basic, but it was still thematic. My stuff has always been thematic with Stalker. Well, thematic with Stalker while also, you know, let's take a trip down memory lane real quick, because, like, my original BRB scene, or, like, my original setting up screen, right, used to be, where are you? Here we go. My original setting up screen used to be this. That was my original setting up screen. Okay, this was my original BRB screen. Like, you could tell I had a certain aesthetic. You could tell I had a certain aesthetic. Yeah. I used to kid Misato super hard back in the day. That was how it used to be back then. And then obviously once I started like VTubing, I kind of switched everything all up. But everything except for the cream notification. Yeah, almost everything was exactly the same except when I became a VTuber. Or rather when I think no, cuz Dwop, wasn't like the mass sub with cream, wasn't that when wasn't that with my live 2D? Because then I had the thing of like all of the sub redeems being based around the different scenes of Strelok and the fucking bad ending with the Wish Granter. But at some point I just decided that like a mass gift sub starts playing Cream by the Wu-Tang Clan. For those who don't know, Cream stands for Cash Rules Everything Around Me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. Because, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, I may be the Battle-Made VTuber. I may be the VTuber who tries to run her community like a hardcore punk show. But hip-hop is also important to me. Hip-hop is extremely important, and most of the PCHC culture is as much hip-hop as it is anything else. Hip-hop is crucial to us. I'm here because I picked up a fucking Wu-Tang record in like 2010 after listening to System of a Down's cover of Shame. I'm here because I got into Tyler the Creator because one of my friends fucking showed me. First you bet the pay, son. Get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. Cream's a fucking legendary song. Even though I think Tears is still like... I like Tears a little bit more than Cream. It's hard to pick a personal favorite off of 36 Chambers. Fun fact, back in 2017 when I was having a lot of trouble finding things to live for, one of the ways I just kind of like kept myself looking forward to tomorrow was, so, for the purposes of like music production, because again, I do produce hip-hop music, I make beats, I sometimes rap, but I have a Tascam Porta Studio 424, which alongside one of the more well-known MPCs, is kind of one of the most, like, important pieces of hardware to early 90s, like, East Coast hip-hop. The Tascam Porta Studio 424 is, like, incredibly important to 90s hip-hop. And I have one, along with a fuck ton of blank cassettes, and I do regularly put music onto them. And a big part of when I'm making a lot of beats is... once I'm really satisfied with the beat and I want to, like, properly, like, release it, I try my best to make a habit of actually, like, recording the beat onto the cassette tape. I will, like, record it onto the cassette tape, and then from the cassette and the Tascam, I will record it back into Ableton. And I will regularly utilize it, but I also like playing, like, cassette tapes on it. And the thing I got into doing a lot back in 2017 was, like, actually collecting vintage hip-hop cassettes. I have an original pressing copy of Step Into the Arena by Gangstar. I have an original press copy of Moment of Truth by Gangstar. I have an original pressed copy of Illmatic by Nas. I tried to get an original pressing of Capital Punishment by Big Pun, but I couldn't. I should also get a copy of Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous by Big L. By the way, if we have anybody in chat who likes hip-hop and they haven't heard Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous, go fix that. Oh shit, I fell down. Give me a sec here. Oh, is that two? Oh, easy. It wouldn't be fair otherwise. Oh, it's three. Oh, it's three. Oh, bull, getting daring today, aren't we, Stalker 2? Girls are dreaming. But anyway, If we have any hip hop heads in chat who haven't listened to Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous by Big L, you should fix that. Go listen to Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous. It has some of my favorite tracks in all of hip hop, like All Black, or Danger Zone, or 8 Is Enough, or The Graveyard, or even the title track, Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous. Fucking love that album. It's great. Rest in peace, Big L, by the way. As the intro to Full Clip by Gangstar goes, Big L, rest in peace. We're gonna miss Big L. Anyway, really poorly aged when he had that one track on, I think it was All Black, where he says, "This ain't Cali, it's Harlem, we do walk-bys." But, anyway, I actually was, so I have, like OG, like, pressed copies of, like, 2 Gangstar albums and 1 record by Nas. It's Illmatic. But, hold up. Give me a sec. I have to finish these guys off first. Ouch. And there should be one more. Is there not one more? Is there no one else? I guess not. Fuck it. But, I actually was originally trying to bid on a copy of 36 Chambers on cassette, like an original pressed copy. I'm deadass about this. This is a story I tell a lot. This is like, so like, you know how, like, everyone has, like, their story of, like, the one that got away? It's like, sometimes it's fishing, sometimes it's something else. My one that got away was, I was bidding on, like, an OG vintage copy of 36 Chambers Enter the Wu-Tang on cassette. I got outbid by 8 cents when I was at work. I got outbid by 8 cents, and that was, like, I like, was devastated, dude. I was like, I came this close to owning a piece of fucking history. It's alright, I should've just bought a copy of Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous about it. I also still hold my copy of Illmatic with extremely high regard. I'm serious, dude. Like classic 90s hip-hop hits, but it hits harder if you listen to it on a cassette tape. It's one of my favorite stories that when I was producing hip-hop, it took me a really long time to nail down the production techniques. Because, like, I obviously, like, one of the first, like, 90s style hip-hop beats I ever made, that album opens with Put It On. That's the unofficial Shelf from the Jump. Yeah, like, oh god, Put It On is good. Put It On has a ridiculously good beat. Kid Capri's production on that record went hard. Did Pete Rock do anything for that album? I can't remember, because I know Pete Rock did a couple of my favorite beats on Illmatic. I also know Q-Tip. I also know Q-Tip from De La Soul did a couple of beats, or did, I think Q-Tip did the production on, I think it was One Love. I think that was Q-Tip did that. I also need to get a copy of, fucking De La Soul's first album. De La Soul is fucking amazing, and, oh god. What's the song, that they did that sampled Not Just Knee Deep? Here you go, everybody. Sasha's talking about funk and soul and hip-hop again. But, what's the song that samples Not Just Knee Deep off De La Soul's first record? It's, Me, Myself, and I. That song fucks. I mean, not just because, like, the synth riff off Not Just Knee Deep is fucking amazing. Yeah, you should listen to Not Just Knee Deep by Funkadelic. Like, if you ever listen to it, you'll hear, like, the synth riff on it and be like, oh, it's that song. And yeah, it is that song. God, it's good. But anyways, I was trying to, like, nail the production of, like, classic hip-hop for a while, and the first track I ever did that was, like, I think, like, the closest I got to it at first, it was, like, a very, like, Gravediggaz-inspired horrorcore beat that I called, like, Charnel House, I think, but, like, I was trying to nail, like, the way that, like, a lot of, like, early 90s hip-hop beats, like, you know, oh, first, yeah, like Lux said, listen to Funkadelic. Chat, this is like me, Too Much Sasha, telling you right now, if you are like, if you don't have any plans to do anything tonight after stream ends, please, for me, go listen to Standing on the Verge of Getting It On. You can thank me later. You can thank me later. But, like, dude, I made a beat. Lux, I need to send it to you, but I made a diss track on my friend Iris, and for the beat, I actually sampled Red Hot Mama. It's a good... Dude, Red Hot Mama's so fucking good. I love Funkadelic. Also listen to Graham Central Station. Also listen to Parliament Funkadelic. Mothership Connection, please. Go listen to Parliament and George Clinton. I'm just going to start bombarding. I am beaming funk beams into your mind. You are going to listen to Graham Central Station, and you are going to do it now. You are going to listen to Funkadelic and Parliament, and you are going to do it now. You are going to listen... fuck it, I'm going to go into the soul now. You are going to listen to Barry White and Curtis Mayfield, and you're going to do it now. God, I love Curtis Mayfield. But anyways, fucking, yeah, I sampled Parliament, I sampled Funkadelic's Red Hot Mama, on the same track that also sampled Earthquake by Graham Central Station, actually. My partner's a huge funk fan. Let's go! Funk is extremely important. Funk is extremely important. But so when I was first trying to make like a very Gravediggers inspired beat, and I was trying to get like that kind of production style that like say Q-Tip or Pete Rock or Kid Capri or Scott LaRock or Premier or Havoc have on a lot of their beats. I was like, damn, how did they get like that nice, like kind of warm, like noise to them? So I deadass just had like a sample of like cassette tape noise and I sidechained it to the drums. And I was like, I guess this sounds okay. Like it'll have to do. And I liked it. But it wasn't until later on in that year when I was working on some other beats. One of them I called Fate Frowns because it samples the Penumbra